Hello, listening people.
Hey, hello, come in, sit down, make yourself at home. But grab a coaster.
A coaster?
Yeah, for your drink.
For your drink, because if you're listening to Spin Posh Presents, which is us, you definitely need a drink, and that needs a coaster, isn't that right?
Yes, a coaster. But we also has co-stars. We're co-hosts, you know.
No, we're co-hosts.
Yes.
I'm Ryan.
Yes, he's Ryan. Maybe one day we'll introduce each other. And I'm Bartek.
No, I'm never going to... I always introduce you.
What are we presenting?
We're presenting Unappreciated Masterpieces, of course.
You said that plural. Multiple in this episode?
Well, depends on the movie. We'll get into that when the movie starts, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
I have a lot of opinions. No, on this show, Unappreciated Masterpiece, we do feature-length audio commentaries for movies that seemingly don't deserve a commentary, for movies that the public would say, hey, that's not worthy of discussion, or that's not a great movie, but that's where the public is wrong. We think that these movies have just been forgotten in time and haven't gotten the love that they deserve. And in fact, the craftsmanship put into these movies are so multi-layered, it's become to the point they are a masterpiece unto themselves. And we think that we need to... No, we know that we need to...
I was about to correct you on that.
We know that we need to talk about these movies to raise them into the public eye, to show you guys that you're wrong. These movies are great. These movies have something. Because the thing that I always find complex about is someone wrote this, someone directed this, someone acted, someone lit this, someone did the set. People spent time in their day for several days, for several weeks, months, who knows how long, making these films just for them to be unappreciated, and that's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, and we've read the trivia for this movie. It definitely slowed down at one point.
Oh, yeah. But before we get all, off our rocker...
I'm ready to give the review, Ryan.
So
what are you going to say?
I was going to say, obviously we're spit and polish, likingly because we're always spitting, and we are always Polish, except for sometimes when we're not.
Yeah, and you spat on me once, so we can
I did spit on... I always spit on you.
Actually, I think you've done it twice.
I spit on your grave, if it counts.
That's a good movie.
Is it?
25-minute rape scene, I'll take it. It's actually a sequence of 3
You
rapes,
must
to be
really
fair.
love a Serbian film as well.
I haven't seen
So, what is the film that we're doing for this episode?
Well, obviously, Ryan, the film that we are doing for today is... I'm just going to take a deep breath and say it a bit slowly because it's a long title.
Oh, okay.
It's Oscar, czyli 60 kłopoty na minutę. Oscar, czyli 60 kłopoty na minutę.
I don't speak Polish. I know I am Polish, but I don't know how to speak the language. It's a very hard language in my defense. It's one of the hardest, is it not?
Well, I mean...
Or is it just...
Yeah.
I mean, you said it like... No, Ryan, but yeah.
Yeah, because it's like... Obviously, the title is Oscar, czyli 60 kłopoty na minutę. So
I don't know what
doesn't
the
that
film...
make sense?
I don't know what
Guys, it's clearly Oscar, meaning 60 problems per minute. That's the title in Polish.
What?
Oscar meaning 60 problems per minute.
What are we watching?
That's the Polish localized title for the movie Oscar.
Oscar, the 1991 Sylvester Stallone classic directed by the comedy legend John Landis.
Uh-huh.
That great movie. That's one of my all-time movies that I have watched in the last 2 weeks.
It has an Oscar in it, but it doesn't have an Oscar to its name.
But you know who does have an Oscar to their name? Not I guessed. I don't want to hype that up. I'm not going to say that I guessed. Well, Sylvester Stallone, who's in this movie, does have an Oscar, doesn't he?
Oh, probably, yeah.
For Rocky.
Yeah. Well, if our guest does have an Oscar, it's probably because he robbed someone of their Oscar.
Our guest is, of course, Leonardo DiCaprio. No. Our guest is Rob Crawford. Rob?
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. It's nice to be back.
It's great to have Rob on. Last time we had Rob was for the, I would say, emotional thriller.
It was a roller coaster. It was an emotional roller coaster, that film.
Everything's a roller coaster.
When you were like slowing down there, I thought you were going to like point out what year it was. And, like,
no, I don't remember it. I think
2005, I think.
I was going to say 2006. But yes, Rob, you're on. You're here for Oscar from 1991 with Sylvester Stallone. How do you feel?
Well, I'm excited. I'm nervous. I don't really know how to feel because that's kind of the way that I felt the entire time when I watched this movie, where
Wow.
I didn't know where my emotion should be,
And
where
that
it should
is-
be invested,
that
how I should be feeling.
Well, there were 60 problems per minute.
There were 60
There was
problems.
60.
There was definitely 60 problems per minute.
One
so-
of us should do a tally if that's an accurate descriptor or not. I think there's a period where there's only 2 problems. But we'll find that out. Guys, you have to get your copy of Oscar from 1991 ready. I imagine you all have a copy of this movie. It's one of the Sylvester Stallone classics that's not a classic. So get it ready because you guys are hopefully going to join along with us while we talk about this in a commentary format. So get it ready because we're going to do a countdown for you guys to press play. So we're going to do the 3, 2, 1 and we'll say play and that's when you play. So 3, 2, 1... Play. So, this film came out in 1991. Were any of us alive in 1991 on this
I was
panel?
born in 1991.
So, what was your excuse for not seeing it?
I don't know when in 1991 did it come out? What
How
time of
old,
the year?
what year?
I know, I like to believe that my mother had me and went, yep, you know what this newborn baby needs? It needs to go watch a Sylvester Stallone film
I remember...
about wise guys. So
I remember my mum was pregnant with my sister and she saw Aliens, which is the best film to see.
ominous.
When my mum was pregnant with my brother, Oscar is his name.
Oh my god, is it the character in this movie?
No, it's not. She watched Saving Private Ryan, and I don't think she was able to finish it, and she hasn't been able to since because it reminds her of the pain.
It's a great movie. Hey, talking about great things, Sylvester Stallone's outfit in this opening scene is gorgeous.
I think all of their outfits through most of the film are outstanding.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is a movie of fashion. Many movies of fashion, but this one in particular. You know what I really like about this scene?
The guy standing in the rain the whole time.
You mean the one with the walkie eye? This guy?
This guy.
Remember how you thought he was going to be a character in the movie, and then did you realize halfway through this movie that hey, where did that guy go? Like
I forgot all about him.
They come back to him at the for the end credits. They're like, oh, he's in this. I'm like, oh yeah, that guy. I remember that
I
guy.
haven't really watched it, but was he in Friends or something?
I don't know. He's my friend though.
Possibly.
Possibly. So here, guys, we start out with one of the great portrayals of a father figure in a movie, which is of course Don Amici is the priest I'm talking about. I mean, he's great. Do we all know who Don Amici is? The priest? You don't know?
No, I'm not familiar.
Bartek?
I'm not entirely sure.
Have you guys never seen the movie Trading Places with Eddie Murphy?
A long time ago.
Or have you never seen Harry and the Hendersons with John Lithgow, in
No,
which
sir.
they
I'd
get
rather
a Bigfoot?
forget that I have seen that film. But
Could
yes.
you not say that? I love Harry and the Hendersons. I actually think it's a great movie. Okay. Side topic about Harry and the Hendersons. There's a great moment in that movie where John Lithgow delivers emotionally this line of, "Have you ever seen a baby pigeon before?" And it kind of makes you think, no, I haven't. I have not.
Yeah, you told me about that.
And it's like, where are they? I don't know. But they could be in Kirk Douglas's hair for all I know. Hey, is it weird that Kirk Douglas recently celebrated his 100th birthday?
That is weird.
He's still alive. And he looks like he's dying here. I mean, evidently, in all fairness, he is supposed to be dying here. So, And he still looks great.
Can we take a moment to credit the slap on the face that just happened before?
That it was a real slap on the face. That's like the best part of the trivia is Sylvester Stallone just being like, you never spar with Spartacus, and you're damn straight.
Baba, no.
Angelo, make me one promise. I love Kirk Douglas. I wish he was in the movie more.
I mean, a lot of the things I read about the films, really Sylvester Stallone, this other actor, and Kirk Douglas. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, for that one scene he's in.
But I think it would be fair to say, out of all the actors in this movie, he is the one...
Believable?
No, I was going to say the biggest star.
At the time.
In general. I mean, people nowadays would be like, oh, I know who Sylvester Stallone is, but it's like Kirk Douglas is still a big star. Him in this movie, you definitely need to talk about him, even if he's in one scene. It's just like, it's like if, you had a scene where, you had Jack Nicholson pop up for one scene. It doesn't matter. You have to talk about it, And he
Kind of
had-
like Steve Carell in Bewitched.
Yeah, well, exactly. And, okay, so the movie, Don Amici's doing the cross. It's very sad.
Ryan just did the cross.
I did it. I think I did it the right way,
Let's,
too. So
let's all
that's
take
good.
a moment to remember 90s
Yes.
films. And I guess it also is set in the 20s, but the
It's
gentleman...
the 30s. Get it fucking
Is it
right.
30s? Okay, sorry.
She's a 30s girl.
Yeah.
She says it like 5 times.
Take a moment to
Well,
recognize
Ryan,
the guy...
so you don't forget.
the guy with the cigar in the room. It's like, yeah, this old fella's dying, but you know what I need to do? Blow smoke
Well,
in his face.
He's not about to, come back to life or anything.
This was the part where I was kind of hoping the rest of the film was going to be done in plasticine. I was like, yes.
I actually
Yes.
said to
Oh, I
myself...
didn't realize this was animated. Awesome.
I didn't realize, I actually sat down for a moment and I was like, this is a good thing. This is a good thing about this film. Like, this is a fun sequence because this is a comedy, and this opening sequence is letting you, the audience, know that this is a comedy outside of the comedy that just happened. And it actually stunned me when this happened. I
Yeah.
actually sat back in my chair and went, "What is happening?"
I
And
thought
just went,
this was
"Am
a
I watching-
serious film.
Am I watching the mafia version of Wallace and Gromit? I don't know what's happening to me.
To build on what Rob just said there, this is one of the films where I walked in completely blind. All I knew is
same,
that
the same.
Sylvester Stallone is in it, and on the poster he was like holding onto a clock hand or something.
He's
I didn't even go that far. You guys told me the name of the film. I looked it up. I found a copy, and I just started watching it one afternoon.
Art LaFleur.
And I was sort of like going, oh, this is interesting, kind of serious for Stallone. Then, to be fair, it took me a good 25 minutes before I went, oh, this is meant to be a comedy. Oh.
When did you not realize it? I mean, what made you realize it was a comedy? Not the slaps in the face.
I'll point it out when we get to it. I just thought it was just really poor, drama acting.
Oh, but then you were wrong.
When we get to the scene, I'll point out the scene when I realised that it was actually a comedy. Until that point, I was just like,
Can it
oh,
please
this
be
is
when
serious.
Tim Curry enters the movie and you're like, oh, it's a comedy?
I don't think he comes in 25 minutes.
He comes in like
No.
50 minutes in.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a comedy.
Yeah, with me, like Ryan, you told me about it. I think since maybe October, November, and you kept mentioning like, "Oh, this movie, yeah, we should get Rob on it."
Oh, yeah.
And then every time you brought it up, you couldn't remember the title.
I kept mistaking it for Arthur with
that's right, yeah.
Russell Brand, which is a remake in itself
the
because
remake
they're both movies that's just the name of
King
a
Arthur,
character.
or-
No, fuck no, fuck no. Arthur's about this drunk, this sad, pathetic drunk, and it's a comedy.
Who builds a wall in Scotland? No.
No, I wish.
Hadrian's Wall.
Liza Minnelli was in the original one.
So you guys had never seen it. You guys heard from me to watch
I've seen that
this.
guy before on my pizza boxes, but that's as far as it goes.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that guy.
He's just not wearing the hat.
Yeah.
I just love this idea. I said, you guys have never seen this
bellissimo.
before. And he goes, I've seen this guy
Yeah,
on my pizza
Margarita.
box. It's like, well, I've seen Sylvester Stallone. I mean, woo. No, I knew about this movie, but I had never seen it. And I will be 100% honest with you. The only thing I knew was 2 things, and one of them's wrong.
Yeah.
Which was, it's a comedy with Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
And he's a gangster. That's the first thing. And then the second one was Tim Curry is blonde in this movie. And that's the only thing I knew. And then I watched the movie and I'm like, I don't think Tim Curry's that blonde. I was really sure of it because he's like in several scenes. In several scenes, he's like backlit, so his hair's like blonde because Tim Curry has like black hair. So in this movie he's got like light brown. So I was like, oh, he's blonde. And then I told Bartek this, and you're like, he's not blonde, and then posted pictures of him in the movie, and I was
like one picture.
I'm like, I'm really happy that you went to the effort to get a picture of him to prove.
Yeah, because you're like, he's blonde. I'm like, I just watched the film. He's not blonde.
Let's take a moment there just to appreciate how well this house is dressed.
Oh yeah.
Of all the issues that I had watching this film that I'll get into, the one thing that stand out is the quality of the dressing of the set.
Oh, yeah.
And it is impeccable.
Set
the
design,
entire
costume,
film, it's
beautiful.
unbelievable. That first moment there where they come and you see the chandeliers and you're like, this is a pretty house.
Yeah, and I like
Just the level to detail is great.
the thing about movies and TV shows too, especially when they're houses that are sets or sometimes or whatever, where they have extensions. The geography of the house makes complete sense for what we're given in the movie, which you got to appreciate because lesser filmmakers would not take that into an account. Like they would not. Like the whole geography of where he is, like the street and everything, it all kind of makes sense, and you got to appreciate that. Is this your favorite character, Bartek?
Well, you
Right.
told me last week that he was my favorite character in Baby's Day Out, right?
Big Baby's Day Out, yeah. So, I really like the line. Okay, one of my favorite line deliveries in cinema. I'm not kidding, guys. I hope this is. I know it's not the moment where Rob realized it was a comedy, but by God, how
it's
did you
definitely
not? The woman in the woman in this scene, the nail woman, her
Yeah.
line
Oh,
delivery is
The innuendo is killer.
spot on.
It's so good.
Like it is jaw-droppingly great.
She's the lady who did Harley Quinn, right?
In the animated show, or it's not Margot Robbie. I can assure you that.
Because I was looking through a lot of YouTube content. Everyone's like, "Oh, Harley Quinn, Harley Quinn, Harley Quinn."
So she must be the voice of Harley Quinn.
That's what I meant.
Here
Yeah.
it comes.
I hope.
There's the eyes.
Forever Alone. Did we get it? Did we get it that his name is a joke in itself?
Yeah, it's a type of cheese.
I finished your nails. Is there anything else I can do for you, huh? It's like, yes, give me a blowjob, obviously.
Wow, Ryan, you brought up blowjobs, not said gobbies.
It's the 1930s. They didn't have the phrase gobbies back then. I'm being period piece accurate
Being
with this
quite
one.
highbrow for this podcast. Well done.
I really am curious of what seed he thought this was not a comedy. It's really got me on
Oh,
the
we're
edge
still-
of my
we're
seat.
still going,
Oh,
that was
we've
it.
still got time. So,
To be fair, I was eating a late lunch at this point, and I was kind of semi watching the film. I wasn't quite studying it very hard, and I was kind of like, oh yeah, what's going on here? But I'll point out the scene when I finally realised it was a
I
comedy.
chose the question you might be asking, audience, is why Oscar? Out of Sylvester Stallone's back catalogue of unappreciated masterpieces, he has a few. And I felt like it was important to choose one of his comedies, because Sylvester Stallone's done a few comedies in his career. This is one, and I felt like it was too obvious to do Stop or My Mama Will Shoot. Shoot you? Or was it just shoot? I can't remember, but it's
Just
like...
shoot.
I felt like it was too obvious to do that one. That one's actually got like a cult following, how bad it is or how unappreciated it is. But this movie was one that I heard about. I had it in my foggiest of memories, and I'm like, this has genuinely good people attached to this project. It has
There's a lot of good actors.
Kurtwood Smith is right on the screen. He was, of course, Red from that 70s show, or even better, he was in RoboCop.
So is Rob the guy we bring on?
He was
when
in
people from-
RoboCop. I forgot about that.
Is Rob the guy we bring on when there's actors from that 70s show in the film?
Yeah, sure. I can't wait to do one with Eric Form and Topher Grace. Predators.
Wasn't he in some like chick flick
Oh, well, you
years
got to
ago?
really narrow it down.
How good's the
from
car?
a few years ago?
The car's pretty good. It's a
What's the
joke,
problem
apparently.
on?
Get used to that car joke that you just saw that you didn't realize was a joke. Here's a female character. You know that she's real sassy. So I chose Oscar because it's a comedy that has a lot of good people attached to it,
Wait,
and
this is a comedy?
it's a comedy, and it looks of high grade. Like, this isn't like for Sylvester Stallone, some cheap backlot movie when he was churning out more crap. It's a movie that is like a proper film and out of his collection of work. And I think it was valuable to find a Sylvester Stallone that no one really knows about. And I guarantee you that you speak to a lot of people and say, hey, Oscar with Sylvester Stallone, they won't know the movie. You guys didn't know. And
It's like, oh yeah, he won an Oscar. It's like, no.
no, and this movie has great...
I think he won an Oscar.
This movie has great amount of talent in it. I mean, Tim Curry, obviously, is one of the standouts for me. But Sylvester Stallone himself, I think this is an example of Sylvester Stallone can do comedy.
It's a very intelligent movie. It acknowledges, oh, this film is mostly set in this one house. We'll make it a damn good house.
I agree. So, tell me about your viewing experience, boys. What was your general feeling while watching this? Like, what did you have what were your expectations while watching it, and did it meet them?
I had zero expectations.
Same
at the
here,
start.
man. We've already established that.
Oh no, but like when you know when you say you have zero expectations, like when
when
you're
you're getting into it,
when you're actually getting into it, you're like, okay. When you're watching a movie, even if you have zero expectations beforehand, you have an idea of where you think it's gonna go.
Well, at this point, I did not yet know about the Polish title, the 60 problems per minute.
Yeah.
So I didn't really understand that it was going to be one of these, it's all set in a matter of basically hours where things just keep building upon other things, and Sylvester Stallone has to, wake up earlier than usual, tired, and then just have to deal with a lot of shit just coming his way. It reminded me of... there was this Bollywood film from like the mid-2000s called Garam Masala, which is about a guy cheating on 3 different air stewardesses. Like they're working airplanes.
Was he a pilot?
No.
I think frequent flyer is the term, I think.
Yeah, Ryan.
Sorry.
And so it's just like this whole thing of him living with all 3 of them at the same time, but they're all around at different times. And when one comes over, he has to hide the other without her knowing what's going on. It's obviously, this film's not as immoral as that. But it just reminded me of this whole, comedy set within a fixed period of time in one location. Well, that one, they're flying all over the world.
It's a classic style that's often best recreated on the theatre stage.
Yeah.
And by the end of this film, I sat there going, this would actually be a really funny play to do on stage.
And it was a French farce that they adapted into a gangster comedy.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
There you go. Bit of a history
I'm
lesson
really...
for
as much as I'm trying to be engaged fully with this film and with these conversations, I'm still in my brain going, what point did Rob realize this? And
just let it go, Ryan. He'll tell us.
No, I'm just making bets with myself, and I'm just hoping that like one of the answers is correct in my brain.
Yeah, because at this point, I was like, this is just really bad drama. I was just like, this is just really terrible acting.
Hey,
and I was,
what is this comedy?
I don't.
Hey, you know dramas. You know in Schindler's List, you remember that scene where the butler threw the hat on the hat rack and it landed perfectly and it wasn't funny
I
at
don't
all?
know. I was like,
dead serious.
it's kind of zany, but it's also a bit dramatic at the same time. But at that point, I'm still like,
I was really slow on this
going.
movie.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Like my expectations, I did not realize until the movie was over that it took. I'll be 100% honest with you. I did not realize that this movie took place in the matter of hours until I was reading the trivia, and it's like this movie takes place in a matter of hours. I'm like, heck yeah, it does.
Yeah, well,
I was really slow. Everything
That
about
is
this
slow.
movie, I was
apart
really
from the
sl-
beginning of the film, but yeah.
I was really slow on the uptake with this movie. Like for instance, like one of the things I was really slow on, other than realizing it took place in one day, was some of the characters' relationships with one another. Like I kind of forgot some of the times.
Wait, so how did you react to the line? It's like you've had 3 fiancés in one day. Then
Yeah, I was really emotional about that. Actually, I think with me, it was such a quick-paced movie. Like that, this is one of the quickest pace. Like the pacing of this is so good in how quick it is, because it's a bada bing, bada boom, bada bang comedy. Like, and the thing I think about with this is, this movie is unappreciated. Why? And I think I have an answer for that. I think I have an answer, which is if you made this movie so perfect for what it's trying to do, that it actually alienates its audience. I think that if you made this movie exactly the way it is right now, in 1951, with Cary Grant in black and white, it would be an acclaimed classic. Because this style of comedy was really popular back then. And this is a throwback. And I think it's so well done of a throwback that it kind of throws the audience off.
I actually found a YouTube comment that says similar things, but it related more to films from the 30s rather than the 50s.
Well, I was thinking, you could still do this exact same film where it's set in 1930s, but made in 1951, because they still did that in the 50s and 40s, where they're still making movies that are like, yeah, it's the 30s, because that was a great time. And I was thinking,
Great
like
Depression.
Arsenic and Old Lace is a classic.
Those 2 exact ones were in the comment.
And this movie would sit right there. And you watch that movie now, and it's like when you watch some of those older movies where you realise, if this was made today, it wouldn't be so good. But since it was made back then, you give it like a different level of a pass. Rob, is this it?
No, we're getting really close.
We're
getting really close. Although this, I can't remember his name. Everything he does makes me laugh.
Tipped you off.
I don't know the name of this actor, but he in any kind of gangster, Italiano American mafia movie, or even TV show, he is in it.
Yeah,
He's
he's
your
in it.
stereotypical guy. I'm fairly certain he's in The Sopranos. I'm fairly certain he's in a lot of things. But you're like, all right, we need a goon to hold a gun, to be, Italian mafiosa. He's your guy.
I'll be 100%
He's your guy.
honest. I thought it was Fat Tony for a good portion of time. and then I realized, no, I'm thinking Baby's Day Out. I really thought, I was like, no, I'm thinking too much about Baby's Day Out, because this had a lot of connections with Baby's Day Out for me. Like, quick pace. It's basically like you could remove the dialogue and it's a silent comedy as well. Like,
Well, that one also is set
in one day.
Well, two-ish, but mostly in one day.
Oh, this is set in two-ish.
Now, we're getting close to me starting to realise that it's a comedy. But I'd like to make a point. It'd be good to. I really hope someone keeps a tally in this film of the amount of times people say the word boss, because it is the longest running joke in the entire film.
It's so
good.
good.
These two guys keep going, sorry, boss. He's like, call me Mr. Provolone. Okay, boss.
Yeah.
And it goes the entire stretch of the film.
Yes, it does.
Mr. Provolone. Okay, so I love Stallone in
You
this.
walk into my house, you telling me you stole 50 G's? Doing a Tony Montana voice, but still.
This is another gag that sort of goes for the whole movie, but it changes a bit.
I know it's kind of early on. I'll ask this. What did you guys think of Sylvester Stallone's acting in this movie? Because he has to play the straight man at the end of the day. What did you think? And, what do you think of him as an actor? In general.
As an actor, I think he's an entertaining actor to watch on the screen, which means movies.
Okay, okay, cool. What about you, Rob? How do you feel about Sylvester?
He had his time where he was very good, and then he kind of hit a point where he lost the ability to speak, yet people still cast him in films. Although he is the lead character in possibly my favourite ever film, Copland.
Oh, yeah, Copland.
Which is just...
Wait, he wears glasses.
Yeah, he wears glasses, and he's an idiot, and it's hilarious, and everyone, De Niro's in it, Ray Liotta's in it.
It's a comedy, after all.
No, it's an awesome film.
It is awesome.
I love Copland.
He was good in Creed, apparently.
Yeah, he was nominated
Never
for
seen
it.
it.
He's doing good.
It was good, but yeah.
He was no Sylvester Stallone in Oscar. That's what you're saying. I don't know. I think he's a good actor. I think he's... What I like about him is he's one of those actors, like how musicians are, where they have their different eras of different levels of personality. So, like, you have, like, the Rocky movies examples of each Rocky movie is a real reflection of who Sylvester Stallone is during that period of time, as a person, as an individual. Yeah. And they really reflect that. And I feel like this is one of those reflections where this is Sylvester Stallone during a period of time where it's like, you know what, I just want to have fun. Like, I don't want to have to do all this intense action and all this all these crappy one-liners. I just want to be fun. I just want to have a fun time.
He's already done the sequel to Saturday Night Fever.
Did he?
Yeah.
Good for him.
I think he bought the rights, wrote it, and had like a little cameo in it.
Oh, good.
So I think since we're talking about Sylvester Stallone, this is a good time to bring up Siskel and Ebert.
Oh, great. I love Siskel and Ebert. Whatever they have to say.
I watched the segment of their episode where they talked about Oscar.
Great.
We can rest easy this time around. They both gave it a thumbs up.
Oh, fuck yeah. I give it a thumbs up too.
They basically said that the first 20 minutes, which was still in, they were kind of not really into it. And like after the daughter was, introduced, they were done introducing her, they really got into the comedy of it. And they both acknowledged that, and actually Ebert was the more lenient one this time, that Sylvester Stallone, he was playing the straight man, and that, Siskel kind of thought, oh yeah, he wasn't as funny as everyone else, whereas Roger Ebert kind of dismissed him by saying, oh well, he was the straight man in a comedy movie. It's a thankless job, he said.
Oh, wow.
So it's nice that these major critics enjoyed it as a comedy and appreciated Sylvester Stallone in the film.
I appreciate Sylvester.
Do you guys wonder what it's like to wear a cement kimono?
No.
It was the one phrase he says in this bit. I was just like, a cement kimono.
Yeah, it's a good bit of imagination.
You know what's, it's one of those lines in movies that makes you do a double take mentally. It's like that. Have you guys seen Total Recall?
Yes.
With Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
There's a line from the bad guy who's Dick Jones from RoboCop as well. And he's just like, when this all blows over, we'll be home in time for cornflakes. And it's like one of those lines that make you go, wait, what?
Was this film sponsored by cornflakes?
No, and it's set in the future as well, so it's like cornflakes still exist.
Kind of also reminds me of a few years ago, the three of us were in a play called Noir, where we had to watch a bunch of film noir films and like bring in quotes to like think about, and one of the ones that I brought in was like, you're fighting a swamp with a teaspoon.
I hate when that happens. And here we go with the most charming Oscar-winning actress, Marsia Tomei.
Yep. And here we come up to the bit where I actually realised that this was...
I knew it was going to be Marissa. Can I make a guess? Was it when... Oh, no.
She cried?
Is it... No, I actually thought... I made a guess for myself with my brain. Is it when he's like, give up all your weapons, and the guy like gives up his weapons for like 5 minutes?
No, I'd gotten gone before then.
Damn it.
It's midway through this scene where I started to realise, because I was kind of like... Why is she acting so badly in this scene? I'm like, why are you so terrible in this bit? And then I was like, hold on.
Did you realise that she only acted badly when she was in her room?
Yeah.
Do you think there's something about in her room? Every scene that she has in her room, she's terrible. Like, I was actually like, oh, now I understand.
Well, Ryan,
but then...
Yeah, I'm not a little girl anymore. I was like, wait, what? Why? Oh. I'm meant to be laughing at this.
You get comfortable in familiar places.
No, exactly right. And I actually went, is there a director in the room for the bedroom scene that's like a different director to John Landis?
Different director.
It's like the French guy who wrote the original play.
No, it's Sylvester Stallone. He's like, come on, yelling at me.
Landis called lunch, and that's when you guys just, flesh this one out.
Flesh it out?
You guys flesh it out. We actually haven't written a script for this scene.
They barely speak English. They're like giving her like theatre directions, like do this big thing.
No, I think it's in this scene here. It has my favourite line in the entire movie, delivered from Sylvester Stallone. I can't remember if it's in this scene. It's in one of the bedroom scenes in which she's like, I'm a 1930s girl, and he's just like, okay, that moment here where they just paused at each other, that was weird. I loved it. But my favourite line in this movie is Sylvester Stallone looks through a record collection.
That's right.
And
he's like, I've listened to Minnie the Moocher. Don't you think I don't know what it's about? And like throws it. Yeah, here it is.
Is it?
And it's like,
it is.
I've heard the lyrics.
I'm so stubborn in this house. I just love it. It's like, what is his deal?
I want to swim the English Channel. All right, okay.
Well, she wants to do lots of... No, you thought that was Sylvester Stallone saying that,
yeah.
didn't you? You know what's something I really appreciate about this movie?
This is it. This is what I was like...
And you're like, oh, this is a comedy.
Oh, right.
I wish... the thing that I really like about this is his name is Snaps, and... They really show you why he's called Snaps in this movie. Yeah. Am I right, boys?
Yes.
He's always snapping.
And we're getting very close to be introduced to my favourite character in the entire film. Or characters.
Oh my god. I knew it would be the Finucci's.
Which is the Finucci brothers. One of which is my absolute favourite, Harry Shearer, who's there on the left. I don't know the name of the gentleman on the right, though.
He is Finucci.
He is Finucci.
They are not actors. They are Finucci's.
They are Finucci's. I couldn't... There was a while there where... Because I kind of wasn't listening, and I was like, are they brothers? Are they lovers? What's the relationship
in the 1930s, there were many gay lovers that were accepted by Catholic gangsters. Yeah.
They make good suits, Yeah,
the Finucci's are great. I like the whole dynamic that they have with them as brothers, bickering as well. I love... look, their teamwork, they lifted that together. No problems there.
I don't know, I think Harry Shearer was not doing his share of the lifting.
He wasn't doing his Shearer of the job?
Yeah. Shearer was... This is... if you get to this point and you haven't realised it's a comedy by Harry Shearer's horrendous impersonation of an Italian...
What do you mean? Doesn't he do the voice of the Italian chef on The Simpsons?
Yeah.
I imagine he does. You remember that chef that only appears like 3 or 4 times?
Luigi was his name, I think?
Yeah. He doesn't appear that much. I don't know why.
I remember there was one episode where like he broke into like a little song and everyone was like clapping and really into it. I'm like, oh, people really like Luigi in Universe.
Yeah, well, Luigi's great. He makes good food. He's a good Finucci. Did we know that they're both the same character? One becomes a chef.
What if Luigi's voiced by like
Like
the
a
actress who
baby
does
band.
Lisa Simpson only does Lisa Simpson and Luigi?
So we found out Rob's favourite characters are the Finucci's. Bartek, I'm really interested to know who is your favourite character in this movie.
I am too, because there are so many.
I need you to decide. You have to rip the Band-Aid off and decide.
It's been, it's actually been about a week since I've seen this film, so I'm still replaying it over in my head, but I think when I watched it first, I think I was really into Keith Davis for his one scene.
Oh,
Just
yeah?
the absolute, so you don't forget.
I really love the bankers.
The bankers are great.
They're just so
Banky.
they're so banky. They're so dry and so dull. And
Yeah.
the guy with the grey hair he's perfect. He's perfect
he
in
is.
the scene.
It reminded me of
Everything's a
of
size.
Trading Places, which I think was a John Landis movie. No. Can't remember if that was John Landis as
I
well.
don't think it was.
No, I don't think so, but same era.
I think we've done
Trading Places has like Don Amici and the other brother, and they have these kind of similar conversations.
It wasn't Harold Ramis. No. It wasn't.
Maybe. Who cares? They're all dead now.
I do like how he's having a glass of milk. In any like modern film, rich people just are always drinking,
Wine,
straight spirits at any time of the day. And
But
I
he's
feel-
a man of leisure. He's a baby man.
he's a baby man. I won't start my day till I have my glass of milk.
Marissa Tomei. So
Marissa Tomei, where she's obviously just left the acting at home and just gone.
for these bedroom.
I'm not getting paid
Rob,
enough.
she
to
left
care.
it in her bedroom.
I want to go to an opium den in Chinatown. That's one of my favorite lines.
No, that's a good line.
So
but
the maid's accent.
the maid's accent is an amazing accent.
Miscellaneous United Kingdom accent.
I think she's supposed to be Irish.
Yeah, I believe she
think
is supposed to be
She's
Irish.
Irish, but then when she quits, she loses it.
Scottish, and then she's every other language underneath the sun.
And she's Dutch. It's just,
Wouldn't
it's
it be a
always-
surprise if she was actually Japanese? No, I was gonna say, interesting choice of favorite character there, Bartek. My favorite character,
I'm still up in the air about it. But,
I'm up in many airs about my favorite character. It's hard not to say Dr. Poole because Tim Curry brings such a flavor to this movie in a good way. Like, I feel like, not saying that the movie was dying, but I felt like he was that vital injection that you needed to
an
live.
unexpected vital injection.
Oh, yeah, and I felt like he really added a flavor, and I think I have to, on merit, say that he was my favorite because he's the best actor in the movie by far. Like, out of all of them, he's the best actor by far. And his character is sweet. Like, his character goes in directions that I would not have assumed that he would go in. And I think on that level, I have to say Dr. Poole. But I also kind of really like, I forget his name, the gangster who has to keep opening the door.
The one who threw the hat?
Yeah.
I actually thought you were going to mention him.
He
yeah.
was great too.
Is he Connie?
No, that's the other one.
Yeah.
I think what I like about him is his character has an arc as well. Like, by the end of the movie, he's kind of grown accustomed to being a butler. And he hates it. And I think I appreciate those two characters the most because I feel like they went through a real great change in a good way. Like
This is
and this is when Rob realized it was a comedy. Oh, the other thing I was really slow on. I'm not kidding you. I'm really
God.
slow on this.
Yes, Ryan Sylvester Stallone is a male.
No. I didn't realize until they actually said it word for word that it's like the driver is Oscar, and I'm like, oh, that's right, Sylvester Stallone's not Oscar in this.
He's Mr. Provolone.
So Ryan, you looked at the poster, you saw Sylvester Stallone, you saw Oscar, and you're like, well, that's Oscar.
Now,
Am I wrong in thinking that line of thought?
I mean, before I watched the movie, like Rob hadn't seen the poster, I thought, yeah, his name might be Oscar, but then we watched the film and he was Snaps, and it's like, oh, okay.
Angelo snaps Provolone, and I'm just like,
Now,
he's still Oscar.
I'd like to put you guys in a bit of a scenario because this scene's got a bit of a Cluedo-like feel to it. So you're a goon in a house and you have to decide to whack somebody. What's your preferred method? Are you going to go the mace? I think the mace is
It's really interesting.
Technically, it's a flail.
or the bottle of poison.
You know what's really
What are you going to go
TNT.
with? Of
The most interesting the most interesting part of all of this is I don't know if Rob knows that Tim Curry is in the movie Clue. You know that?
Right, he is in
He's
Clue,
the
though.
butler in Clue. So I
completely
just don't know
forgot
if he's making. He's like
Oh.
just saying this. I'm like, oh, Tim Curry's in both.
Yeah.
So the answer's Tim Curry. I would use Tim Curry to kill them all because he is a. No, the thing.
I would use Kurtwood Smith to put his foot in their arms.
I love Kurtwood Smith. I think he's an amazing actor, and I think he's.
I liked hearing him do an accent in this film.
Because
Because
he's doing an accent.
Yeah, he's doing like a bit of an...
Oh, he's doing a bit of one of these.
Yeah,
eh?
a bit of a 30s accent. Because I'm so used to him being, like the no-nonsense Red Foreman.
I'm used to him being either two modes: no nonsense Red Foreman or sleazy bastard in RoboCop. I forget his name in RoboCop, but he's great.
also in Best in Show.
Yeah, the Eugene Levy one.
Yeah, where I think he's one of the dog.
He's also in
I know he's in it. He's in all of their films.
He's in Dead Poets Society as Red Foreman.
He's in Dead Poet Society as the one who makes sense. Yeah, you're right. I've had an argument with my English teacher back in high school about Red Foreman. I kept calling him Red. Red makes a lot of sense in this movie. This kid's spreading himself too thin. He really needs to get his priorities in check. And she's like, "You're a monster." She actually said, "You're a monster."
You're a drama student, Ryan.
Yeah. But he's in most Christopher Guest films.
Is
and
he?
so's Harry Shearer.
Are you not thinking of Fred Willard?
Oh, I am thinking of Fred
You
Willard.
fucking idiot.
Oh, they look so alike.
Except for one's got a head of hair and looks nothing like the other. You're an idiot.
No, the same guy. What are you talking about?
They
They're
are-
definitely the exact same person.
they are not.
They're definitely the same person.
Okay, Kurtwood
Oh,
Smith.
damn it.
Okay, the thing I give
Red Foreman.
Foreman.
Kurtwood Smith in this movie, he's great. I feel like he could have been in it more.
Yeah.
I felt like that's one of the critiques I would give about him.
He is kind of, in a way, to use a theatre term, the chorus, because he's like commenting on things that he sees.
Yeah, that or the stuttering guy who's literally commenting on what he sees.
Yeah, but I think
as well.
Red's in it more, though, right?
I think he's in it like by 2 scenes more. You know what I
Because
mean?
he's across the road, and every time a bag appears, it's like, "There's another bag." Or, "There's
Yeah,
the
but that's
bag."
not much of a scene.
I know, but they cut to it a lot.
Now, here's where we're introduced to Teresa, who is what I'd call the spanner in the works.
Oh, fuck you!
For this film.
She's great. She
She's
looks
great.
like a flying nun.
But as a character, now, gentlemen, so if we are putting ourselves into the shoes of this film, are you a Teresa fan or are you a Lisa fan? Where are you going with this? Who are you choosing?
That's.
I'll let you sit on it.
Who's your waifu, Ryan?
I'll let you sit on it for a little bit.
I'm gonna sit on this. I didn't even know there was a competition between the two.
But you can come back and you can choose one by the end of the film.
I think
okay?
I'm gonna go now. Marissa Tomei. Again, I choose her
as Lisa.
As Lisa.
She only talks like that.
Lisa, I think I liked her because, like Tim Curry and like the gangster with a cigar, she has an emotional arc. By the end of the movie, she grows up, she changes, she falls in love, and I think the brattiness at the start was a bit too much. But I feel by the evolution of her character, I choose her, while Teresa here doesn't change. She's just great all the time.
She finds her father, Ryan.
And also Darth Vader.
The role is so great, it's golden, just like the raspberry she was nominated for.
Was she?
Yeah.
That actress?
Yeah.
That one, Teresa, not Lisa, not
Teresa,
Marissa.
not Marissa Tomei.
What?
She was nominated
No, I'm actually really confused. Out of all the actors to give her golden raspberry actresses. No, actors, they like being called. It's either one.
Yeah, but they have separate sections.
I know. But out of all the actresses, that one?
There were only like 4 or 5. So.
No, not the maid? Like, I don't want to shit on her acting here, but not the maid?
I guess not. Look at her. She's acting so well, Ryan. She's not gold.
You've actually got me really dumbfounded by that actually happened. Like,
yeah.
It actually makes me, it makes me less in touch with the world. Like, what about you, Bartek? Do you have a team?
Do I have a waifu?
Yeah.
It's clearly the golden raspberry girl.
You're a golden raspberry girl.
It's my favorite berry, so you know.
Is it?
I love raspberries.
You're a liar.
What, you don't go to your favorite berry club?
No, I don't go to my favorite berry club. No, here's an actress that really elevated the movie for me. I like that she actually she has what a lot of gangster wives really need, which is she has.
Who you're talking about.
She has sass.
The wife.
Yeah, I know.
She has a spine.
She's sassy.
She's hot.
She's a bitch.
She's got an accent.
She doesn't take no prisoners.
She kind of reminds me of Kathleen Turner.
My baby!
Can Rob just narrate the rest of the movie? My little baby!
This whole film is just a lot of people with very over-the-top accents saying
except for Sylvester Stallone, that's his normal way.
That's it. Everyone else, except Tim Curry talks like himself. And Tim Curry, it's just like everybody else. Well, to be fair, I don't know what the mother talks like normally.
That's actually her accent.
That's what she talks like?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's not acting.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, she's trying to lessen her accent.
You ain't so white.
My favourite thing in this whole entire room, because there's a lot in her bedroom. Do you guys have a favourite thing? I'm looking at the squirrels at the moment, but I really like the headshot of Sylvester Stallone on her table. It's like smiling at her. Like, do you have a picture of your dad, like a proper headshot of your father smiling
next to your bed?
No, it's also next to her own mirror. So when she's applying makeup in the morning, she has to look at her dad smiling at her. It's weird.
Now, there's something really strange about that bit there. So they say the chauffeur, and then they immediately cut to the fat mouse picture. Like, did you notice that? There's a close-up.
That's who impregnated her.
Yeah, the fat mouse.
Well, because...
So implying that Oscar is a hairy mouse.
Or a rat, I guess.
Or a rat.
He's a fucking rat.
That's another running gag in the film.
Yeah, rat.
Who's Oscar?
You're talking about rats. Who's your least favourite character in this film? It's hard. When there's so many good characters, you have to pick a least favourite.
Least favourite.
It's kind of like picking which one of the 7 wonders is your least favourite.
I'm gonna go out and say it is Marsia Tomei's character, because
you're wrong, good choice.
She annoys me. She really annoyed me in this film.
You're wrong, but good job.
She annoys me until Tim Curry arrives, and then kind of I feel like elevates her performance.
You fingered her performance, yeah.
Yes, essentially. But until that point, she really shitted me for the first half of this film. I felt
like Tim Curry did, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm not acting with this, John. Let me direct her."
Essentially.
What about you, Bartek?
John Landis slapped him. It's like, I made Kentucky Fried Movie.
And then Tim Curry's like, "Fuck you. I was in Clue." And he's like, "Oh, you got me there, but it's not good enough." It's like, "I was the bighorn devil guy in Legend." It's like, "You got me."
He would have been good in Kentucky Fried Movie, Tim Curry.
As what, though?
I don't know, anything.
It would be like special announcement from Tim Curry. And it's just like him talking about himself. So who's your least favourite, Bartek? It's hard to choose.
It is hard to choose.
You have to pick at one.
I mean, I don't really have any strong feelings.
Is it the Nazi chauffeur who rocks up towards the end of the movie?
It's a good choice.
Well, no, I'm a progressive Polish person.
It's before Nazis? Jeez.
I don't know, maybe the maid?
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
You guys are wrong.
I don't hate her or anything, but Ryan hates someone.
I hate someone in this movie, and I mean, this is the good thing about this movie. You have characters and situations that you love so much.
Is it him?
Hold on. You have characters and situations that you love so much that, I don't know about you, I was verbally and physically engaged with this movie. I was shouting at the screen, being like laughing. I was saying stuff like in a good way. And there was moments where I was screaming at the screen, rocking back and forth, being like, "Oh no, fuck off!" Which was, that character.
Yeah, I thought so.
What's his name again? I forget.
It's not Rob, is it?
It's not Rob. I hate Rob.
It's some short name.
The accountant. I fucking hate that guy. And I think deep down, it's just me that has the problem. I just don't like that. I think it's just I pointed like
him
the
out
character.
Instantly, so
I don't like that character. Like, he's too much for me. Like, too much. And I think it's my thing is too. I think it's the actor as well, where it's coming across as okay. I think I'd be up for this role if the guy played it a bit more goofy and sentimental, like Tim Curry is playing it. But he's playing it way too corrupt and slimy, which makes sense because he has this whole arc of he learns that he loves girls, not money. Like, that's his whole thing. Like, he learns he should love people, not money, right? Which is fair enough, but I felt like it detracted from the comedy, and I was just getting infuriated, and I actually was saying, why don't they just kill this guy? I would really like it if they did. I think the actor and the character, the way it was designed and performed and directed, there's no way you could go about it that I can figure out. Maybe a different performer could bring something that makes the character likable, like, you know, a certain charm that this guy maybe doesn't have for me personally. But he just rubbed me up the wrong way the whole time. And at the end, it's like, he's getting a happy ending. I'm like, man, I wish Oscar got the... Like, I wish Oscar would just marry his girl instead. Like, I'm really upset about all this.
I think it just might be the character, not so much the actor.
I don't know, the actor brings something to it. The actor brings something to it.
Shut up, you Mussolini.
Yeah, that's one of my favourite
And it made me wonder, was Mussolini around in 1933 when this
is
movie...
before World War II.
Yeah.
1933? Was he already leader, though?
I'd say he
I
would...
don't know if he was leader, but he definitely wasn't...
It'd be a promising figurehead in the
But here's that
Italian
thing. I don't know
political
about...
scene,
Here's
I'd
the
say.
thing with my education on the fascism and all that. I really don't know anything about the Italian side of the war at all.
Who cares?
No, but it's interesting. But it's good to know because it's
Yeah.
always good to know because with these movies, maybe that's a really good reference
They
to
just-
make, or maybe it's one that you just got to chuck in there and maybe
A very
makes no sense.
Clever line.
All
Because-
the Italians ever wanted out of the war was good espresso, some grappa, and a bit of football. And then, you know, they didn't really care.
And
for anything
piano
else.
wires.
And the film Life is Beautiful.
And the film Life is Beautiful. And some bambinos.
But like that's the thing I wonder because you know with the fascists until like really the war
The
got
big
started,
Luigi.
they weren't as hated as much as you would think now. But so it makes me wonder. It's like, is that comment valid? It's like turning around and being like, oh, you're such a, and you name like a random leader, and it's like they're not even that hated at the moment. It's like, okay,
You're such an Assad. No, he's hated.
Yeah, you're not. I can't think of anyone that's not truly hated. Like I was gonna say, like
Such a Turnbull.
yeah, that's fair. Like he's just slightly a jerk. He's not a dictator. So here's a scene in which you just have to admire this woman.
Wow.
She's really acting, and I was blown away here. I thought, you know, if anyone should be nominated for a performance in this movie, it
those
should
eyes.
be her.
Those
It's
eyes.
the eyes and the cheekbones. Like you just and Sylvester Stallone. Look at him. His little teapot.
He was doing a Jesus.
He was Christ just then, Rob.
I think he came in his pants. I think that's what happened in that scene.
I would.
Well, that's what Jesus does. Well, I don't know where I'm going with this.
Now we got Kurtwood Smith back on screen. I love him.
I love
He
that
delivers
car.
one of my favorite lines of dialogue in RoboCop as well.
Yeah.
It's the way he delivers it, and you know how we all know how Kurtwood Smith sounds when he
Yes.
gets angry. There's a scene in RoboCop. I don't know if you've seen RoboCop, but there's a
I want
scene
to.
where RoboCop's like throwing him through different plates of glass. Like he keeps throwing him, he's bleeding profusely, and he's just like, "Stop! I work for your boss, Dick Jones," and I just love the way he delivers that line. If you listen to it, I think I nailed it pretty well.
Does
Like-
he emphasize Dick Jones?
no, he does because Dick Jones is like the second in charge of the company, so it's like really important because RoboCop's at this point is going to kill him, even though he shouldn't, or like that's what's going to most likely imply. And he's like begging him. He's like, "Don't! I work for your boss, Dick Jones," and it's great. It's just the way he delivers it because his character's a slime ball.
I like your delivery, so it must be really good.
Dick Jones. Yeah, it's great.
Well, that one was.
There's no Dick Jones in this movie,
There's
unfortunately.
no Percy Jones either.
Percy Jones.
So, okay. We have a lot of feelings about this movie. What is it that you guys think made this movie unappreciated? I already kind of gave you a slice of mine. What do you guys think? What's a feeling?
Yeah, it's tricky. I mean, I guess people don't really look at Stallone as being this comedy guy, or maybe they just hadn't heard of the film. Oh, I haven't even talked about the trailer for this film.
Was it good?
It's one of those trailers that... Okay, you know how I told you the Polish title is 60 problems per minute?
Yeah.
The trailer would have you believe that the whole film is about trying to find Marsia Tomei a husband.
It
That's the whole,
isn't.
but that's what the trailer makes you think that that's the whole film, because even the trailer narration's like, Snaps Provolone's daughter needs a husband and he has to find, or something like that. It's all about
And then a
trying
Michael
to
Bay
find her a
explosion,
husband.
yeah.
And all these just random scenes, and it doesn't really give you this impression that this is based on a French comedic play that's set in a house during one day where a bunch of things go wrong. It's completely misleading.
Does
So
it
what you're
even
saying
give you the
is
idea
that
he's
a
trying to
ru-
go straight?
No.
So what you're saying is that a really bad Hollywood producer chopped it up and made a really bad trailer and ruined the film? Never heard of that happening before.
I've actually never heard of that happening before. I've heard the opposite, where they've chopped up a really good trailer for a really shit movie.
And I think that's probably one of the reasons why it has been overlooked, because if you kind of know what you're coming into expecting it, like, this is quite an entertaining film. Sure, it's not completely ha laugh out, holding my sides funny, but
okay, I disagree, but okay.
It's enjoyable. I really enjoyed it, and it is a lot of fun. There were points where I did laugh a lot, but it's a fun ride, and I think if you're presented that going into it and in the trailer, you might expect it more, as opposed to me spending 20 minutes going, this drama's terrible, before I cottoned on while I was watching.
We've talked on this show before about misleading trailers in Bewitched and A Winter's Tale.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Winter's Tale, it's kind of spot on as well, though.
Yeah, no, but it only focuses on the romance. It doesn't focus on all the fantasy stuff. And Bewitched...
Yeah.
Was that the opposite?
I don't even want to talk about the Bewitched trailer. It's terrible. But here's something I got to ask. This is a comedy. I've already shared my slice of my favourite joke in this movie. Do you guys have a favourite joke it's kind of hard to say, or sequence in this movie? Because this movie also is that too.
So like running jokes?
I guess. Like, what's a favourite thing? Like
my favourite bit, and it's because it has my favourite characters in it, is the sequence where the Finucci's... Well, this young gentleman believes that the Finucci's are hired hitmen.
Yes. Because the picture.
That is the funniest scene, I'd say, in the whole
And it's
entire
because
film.
it's so cute when they talk as well. They're like, one day we're going to be lucky to get to you. That was a really good impersonation of them too.
I don't know about favourite scene, but my favourite running joke, I think, is the whole... the servants pulling out weapons and Sylvester Stallone every single time just looking at them and taking it away as if it's like a student chewing gum.
And then eventually there's a time where they don't have any weapons
Yeah,
anymore because he's taken them all.
Yeah, and like what we said before about the sorry boss, that running joke, that's kind of the same throughout, but that one kind of evolves in the end where Sylvester Stallone himself holds the weapon and then he, it plays it a bit differently.
Can I ask what your feelings are on the purple lighting?
Okay, I was actually really confused because I was like, this is the one moment where I'm like, is this set in modern day?
Yeah, because suddenly they've gone out of 1931 house
into 1984
strip club or something.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think's projecting it? You know what I think's projecting it? I think it is like there's some purple meteorite that's in his backyard. It's Sylvester Stallone's like, once it goes straight, become a banker. I'm going to be able to fund a scientific expedition into this meteorite. What am I going to do? And then the sequel is Oscar in space. In which you actually find out Oscar was an astronaut, like an early day astronaut, and he crash landed in a meteorite.
He's an alien.
No, he's just an astronaut.
Oh, okay.
And the real alien is Tim Curry. That's why he loves the human language.
Alien.
I love the running joke of Tim Curry's mother. Like, at first you think this joke's great. Fuck off.
Get out of here.
The best part, they have to cut it real quick because you can see that it's flying back towards.
Wait, so that was real?
That was like you really hit a pigeon, and because they're just little, like you can do that. They're animals, like they're birds. But I love you see they cut before it flies back at it because it must have not been happy about that. No, I think this has a great amount of jokes in here, and I think one of the iconic scenes that people can take away from the movie, because it's a scene that's not even funny unless, and this isn't, you have to give it, the performer. And it's a scene where Tim Curry leans over the stairs and just says, hello.
Well, that's...
and they just go, get back in there. It's like, no.
And that happens...
It's not funny. It's not funny because if it was anyone else other than Tim Curry with that Tim Curry inflection and voice and smile, you wouldn't care.
True, but I do think that scene already was kind of funny before he came in, so he just kind of added to it. Because that was the scene where the priest came in and they did one of the times where they were recapping the whole story, if you were to take that conversation out of context, you'd be like, what the hell is this movie about?
But I think it's one of those scenes where you can just have a clip of Tim Curry doing that with no context.
Oh, that's easily meme-worthy.
There we go.
Yeah. It's as funny. I love there's a compilation. I might share it on the page of Tim Curry's laughs in movies. It's like 8 minutes long. It's like all the times he's laughed in movies and they're all varyingly evil. Like none of them are polite. Like they're all evil sounding because he's a very evil sounding man. Oh, the Finucci's.
With subtitles, that was really confusing. Like, we didn't really hear their pronunciation, so it's like...
I think they were speaking in Italian.
No, they were saying, it's Coppa. No, it's Coppola, or something like
It's
that.
Scorpa. I believe that's a kind.
I guess they were, like, pronouncing it differently. The
Oh,
subtitles
no, they
didn't
were.
really-
Yeah. It's hard to do that. So, this movie's got a lot going on. It's a lot to unpack, you know? And
It's busy.
overall, how would you describe the feeling this movie gave you? If you had to use a word to describe how this movie made you feel overall, not after it was done, while you were watching it. Mine is maddening. I think I wrote that to you, Bartek. I'm like, that film was maddening. It drove me insane. In a good way, though. Like, I was really engaged with this movie, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. The only thing that kind of confused me was the group that the Harley Quinn lady was... Were they like a rival family or something?
They're a rival gang. They're the other gang
Yeah.
in town.
Because
you know, in this movie, there's always... You know, in gangster movies,
Yeah,
there's always a
they
rival gang.
They don't cut to them often, so I kind of forgot about them. And at the end, when they were coming to, like, you know, perform a hit, I was like, oh, these guys are gangsters.
Well, it's in the narrative of that they all think Snaps has gone quiet because he's going to make a deal with, what was it, the Chicago gang or something like that. I can't remember.
I figured it out by
It's
the end.
other gang, and that's why Red is there. That's why Kurtwood Smith is there too, because they all think he's making this big power play. So the police are going to be there to arrest him, and the gangsters are going to be there to kill him, and the bakers are there just to judge.
When they started playing with him on the piano and he didn't realize, I started laughing, and then in spite of myself, I just started thinking, you know, one of my things that I laughed the hardest at in Nothing But Trouble was
Dan Aykroyd
playing the piano. What is it with me liking people playing pianos?
I actually didn't realize that this was going to happen.
It's such
Rob,
a good thing.
And
It's
Rob,
such a good
was
scene.
I the only... I don't know. I hope you're agreeing with me on this, Rob and Bartek. I was actually like, is this going to become a musical? Like, I actually thought, is
I
this
didn't
going to
think
break...
that,
No.
but-
As soon as a character... Because what you said about Nothing But Trouble, yeah?
Yeah.
That was kind of
Yeah.
musical, where they sang and did
Yeah,
stuff.
it had like two...
Because they had Tupac.
Now,
Yeah.
here's my thing. How is he not noticing that they're there and then suddenly freaks out when he
Because
realizes it's them?
Because he's an idiot.
Because he's beautifully taken by the music.
Because he's got glasses.
Scusi.
But my thing was, when you see a character, and especially in a comedy where you can expect it more, when they sit down and they start playing music, you're expecting
So
a
good.
singing number
It's
to
a cutthroat
happen.
business. If we get backed up, we gotta work a weekend. We don't like working weekends.
No, we are family men. You treat this like it's a normal business. Tisk tisk.
It's a art.
It's yeah. No, you gotta say right. To us, it's a art.
It's art.
It's a art. Baby face, and you don't even see his face. Like that's the best part. Like that's such a subtle joke.
Yeah, it's like when they first showed that, it's like, oh, that's kind of silly. I did not for some reason realize
it was gonna be a
that it was a
callback.
setup to something.
Everything's a setup and everything's a payoff in
That's-
this movie,
it's
and I
brilliant.
think that's the worthiest part of its comedy. You're looking at the band. They are great, and then they just disappear.
They have to do another guy, right?
They have to do another guy. So,
Here's one of our first outfit changes from the mother
oh, and Marissa Tomei.
and Marissa Tomei as well, and the hair's gone as well.
I hate Marissa Tomei's dress. I hate it. The mum looks great.
I thought she was your favorite girl, Ryan.
She's my... Oh, I didn't say she was my
Favorite daughter,
favorite
sorry.
daughter. She's my favorite daughter. But the outfit doesn't mean I have to like it. But guys, what's your word to describe this when you were watching it? Your feeling. Mine was maddening. I think that's a good one.
I felt like it was a lot of chaos.
Chaos.
Chaos is where I was going with it for quite a while, where I was just kind of like, there is a lot of things happening at a lot of time, and if I was very hungover when I watched this, which I was,
You always are. He's
was-
drunk now.
it was.
Is that you're drunk? I've seen you drunk. You're
It
not
was-
at all like that.
It was quite confusing. I was just sort of like, what?
Confusion and chaos. Maddening. Bartek?
Mine isn't a word. Mine is a man with a goofy face wiping sweat off his brow.
This movie felt like I didn't exercise like for an hour and a half. Like it felt like I went on like a sprint.
So this is the scene where we really see that your favourite character, Ryan's a bit of a dick.
Who, Tim Curry?
No, the guy whose name we don't remember that I thought.
Oh,
was
the cigar smoking gangster.
the accountant.
Oh, the accountant's my least favourite.
Yeah, isn't he your least favourite?
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you said my favourite. Yeah, this guy's a cunt.
Antonio.
This is the thing. He's such a dick. Like, he's such a jerk. Like, he's awful. And like he makes like in the end, if it wasn't for him,
he's so needy. It's just me. I need this. I have to have this. It's like,
I don't have a penis. It's really upsetting. Please
Settle-
worship me.
Settle down. Settle.
Like,
settle,
look, even
come
Marissa
on,
Tomei
mate.
is like opened up to him.
Look at me. I don't do my tie up properly. I'm awesome. Like, screw you.
Wait, hold on a second. The subtitles just said babysitting Oscar's kid.
Yeah, because they think it's Oscar's kid, and she's told
Oh,
him right now that
sorry,
it's Oscar's baby.
I misread the subtitles. I thought he said that he would be babysitting Oscar's kid.
No, that's what he's saying. Like, if
My
it was,
mistake.
he would be left babysitting Oscar's kid.
I forgot about the pregnancy.
Okay, that was a scene I did like. This moment here where they yelled at each other. It's like, fine, see you at church. I like that. That was good. And look, he's got to this point where now he is. Oh, there he is! Yay! And he has like the perfect hat for Tim Curry to wear
And
as
he's
well.
so blonde.
He kind of is not as blonde as you would like to think he is, but he's blonde enough for Tim Curry standards.
That's a brown.
It's a red, if anything.
Yeah, actually it is.
It's a mahogany.
It's a chestnut?
No, mahogany. I said mahogany.
Well, that's wood. I'm talking about nuts.
I'm talking about Nutty Wood Mahogany. Jesus.
Is that your screen name, right? Nutty Wood Mahogany?
Yours is Bartek Sex Machine 44 or something, so, yeah.
No, that's my internet name. Sex Machine 47.
Rob, what's your sex name?
The internet name.
No, I said internet.
Well, you didn't ask me for my sex name.
Rob's sex name is Tim Curry.
Yeah, Tim Curry. 42.
He leaves the girl spicy afterwards.
Mine is Bappa Big Pee.
It's funny because he doesn't have one either.
You don't know what Bappa is.
I don't know anything about the Polish language, but I know you don't have a penis.
Wait, hold on. Oh shit, where is it?
It's just a plastic mound, like the Ken doll.
I left it in my treasure chest.
The thing I love so much about Tim Curry's character is firstly that he is a linguist, and his script has been written very well because they give him such
eloquent words,
heavy words that have so much to pronounce, and
he makes it seem easy.
He steals the show in this scene with the words that he's saying, and the best part is, apart from Antonio, from saying the guy's name we forget. Apart from him, everyone else is just utterly confused at everything he says for the entire
I love the
film.
oxymoron.
Every third word, everyone's like, "What is?"
Yes, that was an oxymoron.
That was an oxymoron.
Oh, come on, Doc, you didn't have to point it out.
He's trying his best. He does his best. And also he does like, oh, you've got a dangling participle.
And he
checks his dick or something.
He turns around and unzips and it zips up again. Like, that's the best part. Tim Curry, he's one of those performers that he's one of those guys that you can't nail down, but if you can, he's perfect. Like, he's played a variety of things, yet they're all the same on a level, because Tim Curry is such a great actor that his personality, who is just so strong, just shines through each performance, and it's a weird personality, to say the least, you know? It's very English, it's very seductive, and funny and dark, his personality. And it shines through in each role, even in this.
Anthony, not Antonio. There we go, Anthony.
That's right, it's Anthony.
Oh, Jesus. Anthony.
Bonnie or Margaretti.
Oh, Daddy, please. No, she's not Italian, but, like, if only.
Daddy.
I mean, you know, she could have won an Oscar for this instead of My Cousin Vinny. You know, which she did win one for. An Oscar. Her best work was on Seinfeld, where she had to play herself. You remember that?
That's right. Which episode was that?
Where George claimed that George claimed that he had a thing for Marsia Tomei, and then a friend of his knew Marsia Tomei, and she has a thing for bald, fat, short guys.
That sounds familiar.
And George is already in a relationship with his fiance, and he starts going out with Marsia Tomei, and it's really weird because they're such a good couple.
That's so right. She's also in correct me if I'm wrong, $1 Million Baby?
No, that's Sandra Bullock.
No,
I'm pretty
$1
sure.
Million Baby. Sandra Bullock's not the boxing film.
Yeah, Sandra Bullock.
That's definitely not Sandra Bullock.
What do you want about that?
Nah, that's
About the
definitely
main girl?
The main girl?
That's definitely not Sandra Bullock.
That's not Marissa Tomei.
Who is it?
No, she was in Gravity. Marsia Tomei was the main chick in Gravity.
I'm actually...
Stop doing this to me.
I'm actually going to look this up because I just want to know that I'm...
$1 Million
right.
Baby. Who is the girl in $1 Million Baby? I swear to God, it's her.
Isn't it Sandra Bullock?
It's definitely not Sandra Bullock. Alright,
You look it up.
I'm gonna look it up.
We'll be back
It's
after
not-
these messages.
It's not Marissa Tomei.
I don't know, I've seen Gravity. It's clearly Marissa Tomei.
Hey, it's Don Amici. He was in $1 Million Baby as
Oh,
Clint Eastwood.
Then this must be the scene with the hello.
It's Hilary Swank.
You know who Hilary Swank
Yeah.
reminds me of? Sandra Bullock.
Wait, so you were both wrong?
We were both wrong. But in all fairness, Hilary Swank is Sandra Bullock, but masculine.
Yes, correct.
Wasn't Hilary Swank in the not Daniel-san Karate Kid film?
What?
The fourth Karate Kid?
Oh,
film?
yeah, the third Karate Kid, isn't it?
No, the third one still has.
Here's one of the best scenes ever.
Round the rugged
Rolling,
rocks.
ragged, rascal, rudely ran. Oh, he's great. Now, there were a lot of opinions about this movie. Roger Ebert was a fan. Now,
Siskel too?
we are fans, obviously, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Where would you rank this in the catalogue of Sylvester Stallone movies? Like, would you place it number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, 5?
I haven't seen too many, but I have seen all the Rocky-related films.
So number 1 then.
So it does rank up there.
I'm gonna put it down the list for me.
Number 2.
The second Stallone
Right
film.
after
Well,
Rocky 4.
No,
Yeah.
right after Party at Kitty.
Well, I really enjoyed the first few Rockies. Like 1, 2, 3 are all good.
Which one's the one where he versus the Russian that kills?
4.
Is that 4?
Ivan Drago.
I will break you. No, I must break you.
As I mentioned earlier, Copland is definitely my favourite Sylvester
Oh,
Stallone film.
he's already got his.
And of course, his wonderful portrayal, the true story of John Rambo.
Oh,
We're all
true
forgetting
story.
The true,
Man, I thought she left already.
the true
No, she's
story of
leaving
John
now.
Rambo.
She has to put the briefcase down.
She's back. She has to do the old switcheroo.
I just remember it being much earlier in the film.
So you were saying, I'm surprised that your number 1 choice is not my number 1 choice, which is so obvious. What about you?
Escape to Victory.
No. A genuine one, I mean.
Well, I haven't seen the Sylvester Stallone porn film, Party at Kitty and Stud, so I can't put that on the list. Nor have I seen the sequel to Saturday Night Fever, which he wrote and directed, I believe.
Yes.
I have seen the 7 Rocky-related films, and 2 is my favourite of the bunch.
Really?
Yeah, I liked 2.
I'm still a fan of number 1.
Yeah, you like Best Pictures, you typical
The second one,
Terrence.
didn't the second one get nominated though?
I have no idea.
I think it did. I think it
I
was like the
just
first
liked it.
sequel to... No, wrong about that. Godfather 2 happened.
Yeah, I'd put it probably somewhere. I think it's better than most of the Rocky movies.
Yeah, fuck those Rockies.
Yeah.
My favourite Stallone is Demolition Man with Wesley Snipes
Oh.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
and Rob Schneider
Oh, yeah.
and Sandra Bullock.
You mean Hilary Swank?
Oh, you mean Marissa Tomei? It has a scene in which, I know we're getting diverged off for a little bit, but it has to be mentioned why Demolition Man is my favourite movie out of all of his. It not only is it a smart sci-fi comedy action movie, but it has a good Rob Schneider performance, but it has a scene in which he's in the future, yeah, and he goes to the toilet, and he sits on the toilet, and he's like, where's the toilet paper? And he just sees these 2, like, clam shells on the wall, and he's like, what's this? And then that scene ends, and then he just goes, hey, where's the toilet paper? Like, you don't know how you fix that problem? And they're like, toilet paper? Wow, we got rid of that years ago. Didn't you use the shells? And it's just like, what? And then the next time you see him, he goes to the bathroom and he like grabs the shells and he looks really confident. And then that's it. And you never find out how you use them. And Sylvester Stallone has a theory, which is you just kind of use one of the shells to scrape the poop off your butthole and put it in the other shell and then flush them. Isn't that great?
It is pretty good.
But it's no Sylvester Stallone running down some stairs. He does a lot of running in this movie.
It's not as good as a bag full of Pezzies being given to you.
That's another thing. I think Siskel was like, oh, you know, when he's running up those stairs, I just see Rocky.
It's the eye of the tiger, and it's just like him running up and down.
That song was not in the first Rocky film.
I know, but he said it reminded him of Rocky.
Rocky Balboa.
Oh, but did he mean the character or Rocky
character.
1? Oh, that's fine.
But like Rocky 1...
Oh, no, don't give me shit. Don't give me shit. Don't give me shit.
I like the one where they throw oranges at him.
I still love number 4, where it's like, I must break. No, what's the one with Mr. T? Is that number 3? And he's outside the courthouse and he's slandering him, and Rocky is like, I'm fine, but once he starts hitting on her, he's like, I'm gonna fight you now. It's like, yeah, that's what Mr. T wanted. What was his character's name? Mr. T?
Oh, Clubber Lang?
Yeah, he was the best one. He was the best one out of all of his opponents. I don't care. He was great.
But that was the film where he fought Hulk Hogan, right?
I hope it was.
Yeah, it was. Because it was like, oh, we're going to have a boxer versus a wrestler, and like Hulk Hogan like dominates the match.
I really like the bit where The Undertaker came out and just like hit him with the chair. Oh, wait.
I like that Don Amici, he's really playing the scene as seriously as one can. Like, I love his adorable little face in the scene where he's like, hello! And the awkward silence, and like, get back, and then, looks like a nice young man. He's old enough to be, like, your brother. No. This movie has a lot of things going on, a lot of feelings about it. And I think the thing that this movie has going for it, in comparison to other Sylvester Stallone movies, is he's playing against type. In Sylvester Stallone comedies, he's playing like a cop or an action hero badass that has to have like a gun shootout or something. Here, he's playing on a surface level a villainous role. He's playing an organized crime lord, and I can't really think of Sylvester Stallone playing a bad guy. Really, I'm sure he must, in his career, have done it. But like, this is like, no, he's not a bad guy in this. He's still the protagonist, but he's playing a more villainous side of society. And at the end of the day, you know, that's something I want to ask you. That's something I got to ask. Did you understand the? Now again, I might have been slow, but did this movie just end with him saying, "Fuck it, I'm going to be a gangster anyway"? What happened?
Like,
no, but then he's
literally,
like,
or
no, at the end, but he's like, "Sorry, Pop, I tried," and then does that mean he gave up?
All right, boss.
But then I'm confused because he said, "You guys are still going to be a part of my company. I'm the CEO," and then he gives them like his gangsters proper business titles, and I'm like, what does that mean?
I guess they're going to be a bit more corporate. Or they're going to get into like.
But I don't know. My girlfriend Rachel said no. They're going to start their own bank, and I'm like, what? And I'm very confused. Am I slow on that? Like, did he just become a gangster? Like, the whole lesson was nothing?
Here's my thing with this, because she says, "Oh, I knew it wasn't mine because I couldn't open it."
Yeah, but then they open it easy.
And they open it really easy.
It's because she's Irish.
She's Irish.
Potentially.
Yeah, that Irish stereotype. Can't open
It's
bags.
because she looks like a cartoon character that would appear in the Scooby-Doo.
So, alright. Now, here's a question for you guys. Are there 2 bags or are there 3 bags?
There are 3 bags.
There's definitely 3. Sometimes I feel like there's 6 because...
At one point I thought there was 4.
Yeah, I know.
Like, at one point I was like, wait, why is that bag there?
Wait. Okay, let's track the bags. So... there's the bag that has the jewels.
Jewels, clothes, and money.
Jewels, clothes, and money. And that's it.
That's it. But I swear to God there was like a 4th bag of like nothing.
No, I don't think so.
Because at one point... it gets really confusing with the bag that's trying to travel to the Underwoods, because sometimes someone comes to pick it up, sometimes someone brings it back.
Sometimes it's a Nazi.
And apparently those...
sometimes it's a Nazi.
And apparently those characters don't interact and hand each other bags, so
Definitely
it gets confusing.
Yeah, that's a great thing.
There was literally one point where someone opened a bag and something was in it that I wasn't expecting. Like, wait, wasn't this meant to be the other bag? I can't remember which part it was.
It's full of vibrators. What's it doing here?
I like how Tim Curry reacts to the underwear sequence by being like,
the second
yes,
time?
Mr. Prevalent,
The second
money, look, so much money. And he's like rubbing it on his face. He's like, look at all the money. And Sylvester Stallone just doesn't react to it. He's like, all right. Like, moves on. So at the end of the day, did Tim Curry still think that he was crazy?
Yeah.
Although, yeah, to be fair, with my confusing, Rob keeps bringing it up, the Nazi guy.
He's so good.
He's
They
not
keep-
a Nazi.
so
They just
good.
keep saying he's a Nazi. That's the weirdest thing about
Okay,
this.
Tell me
pre-Nazi
that he's
era
No,
Nazi.
it
Please
wouldn't-
tell
the
me that
Nazis
he's
wouldn't be in
not.
charge. What?
Please tell me that he's not a Nazi. He's dressed
a
like
Nazi.
he's dressed like someone
But
in the
my
SS.
thing is, the Nazis were in charge of Germany at this point when the story's being told. But my thing is, they're saying it like it's a negative thing, but the Americans didn't really care about the Nazis until they had to.
Yeah, they're very efficient. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
No, that's what I mean. Like, so these Americans being like, "Yeah, you're Nazi," like, "Oh, this," and like sticking it to him, like that's weird because
Do they do that
would.
in this film?
No, yeah, the guy, the cigarette smoking one gives him flack for all of that stuff. But also he makes more World War One references too, where it's like, "Tell the Kaiser I said hello," and like
Yeah.
kicks him. But he does make some Nazi innuendo, like referencing kind of stuff too. So it's kind of like, wait a moment, wasn't Hitler Times Man of the Year? Like he wasn't even that by this point.
No.
Maybe these guys, holy shit,
They're time travelers, Ryan.
they knew that Hitler was a bad guy,
Well, they have-
and they stood by and did nothing.
Ryan, they have connections. They know stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know the freaking Oscar. He's in the war. He's at a war.
No, Oscar's
He's in
an
the
astronaut.
army. He's in the army.
Wasn't it Navy?
No, army.
Wasn't it
Army.
Sandra Bullock?
Fuck, you got me. It was actually Hilary Swank. Rob's gonna be like, I'm gonna suffer for that comment. I like how you like.
To be fair, Ryan, you made a
How
mistake
old,
too.
how old would Marsia Tomei have been in that movie?
$1 Million Baby. I
Yeah,
don't know. Old enough.
too old to be like a boxer.
I don't know.
And she's
She got fit.
somewhat young.
Ah, she got fit. What are you gonna tell me?
She's somewhat young looking in this film, so
She's young, but this came in 1991.
yeah, and that's 15 years later. So
yeah, exactly.
You took my gun, boss. So I just got a
I love
chicken leg
this.
instead.
I love this. This was so good. Nothing said. Just takes it and
Walks
just
off.
and
It would have been better if he took a big bite out of it.
like I said, my favorite running joke.
boss. I think what I really like about Sylvester Stallone's performance is his hand gestures.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a real character when you know Bartek and I.
He's quite a politician, isn't he?
Yeah, Bartek and I know definitely for sure. And Rob, you've done acting as well. Those little character traits that you got to put into your whatever character you're playing. Like, oh yeah, this would be the kind of hand gestures I would use, or this would be the kind of way I would tilt the head, or whatever. Sylvester Stallone, I think he's nailed the snaps character because he does have the hand gestures that would make you think like, look at his hands right now.
Well,
They're ready to snap. Like they're
he's-
ready to snap at you right now.
And he's the alpha male character in this, so he's always in the power stance.
Yes.
If you know what I mean, he always
Except for when it's
he's
his
always
daughter.
the biggest person in the room. The only time he's not is probably when his wife is around.
Nah, when his daughter's showing
Herself.
lingerie, and he's like, "Oh Jesus!"
Oh, jeez. Yeah, but otherwise,
There's an actor in this movie called Art Lafleur, and I think that's a great name.
who's Art Lafleur?
He's one of the detectives. I don't know. I just like the actor's name. I noted that down in my notes. I'm like, Art Lafleur? Who's this guy? And he's just some old actor, and I'm like, and he's not got any like interesting lineage for him to be called this. They're just like, we called him Art Lafleur, and I'm like, that's a great name. Oh, those eyebrows are on point in this scene.
It's not like how in what was it? That monkey one, Monkey Bone. There was Poe. What was it? Edgar Allan Poe the Fourth or something.
Yeah, well, he's related to
It was
Edgar.
like a guy
Jeez.
claiming to be a descendant of Edgar Allan Poe,
Ah, if we could all be descendants of Edgar Allan Poe.
but he's not Polish.
Bum bum.
You got it. Rob's not Polish either, so.
What's
No.
Crawford?
Scottish.
Crawford's fucking lame, that's what it is.
Hey,
the fuck
be fair,
out.
Ryan.
Thanks, guys.
Scottish, they have groundskeeper Willie.
They have Braveheart. That's it. That's all you have.
I got King Arthur as well.
Fuck you, King Arthur. He's not,
Oh, you mean this film?
he's not real.
We've got we've got Marissa Tomei
And Hilary
and
Swank.
Hilary Swank.
Let's not forget Sandra Bullock.
It's funny because Bullock means balls.
Yeah, that's bollocks. So yeah, every character in this movie is actually Rob's descendant. So
Ancestor?
no,
Descendant.
he was
For the year he was born.
he was born.
I travelled
You know,
back
Rob,
in time.
He can produce to the point of doing it in the past.
Yeah, I know. That's how good I am.
Oh, this is cute. When Tim Curry's got like his
Dun,
books
dun,
over his
dun,
shoulder. Like,
dun,
what a
dun.
cutie.
All right, here's the SS rocking up. Rocking up. I think he's driving a Rolls Royce, judging by the thing on the front
No,
of
it
the
would have been a
car.
BMW if it was a Nazi.
Yeah.
They were the car
The
of
thing
choice. And that's not a joke. That's true.
So please tell me how this gentleman is not a Nazi.
He was in... I'm pretty sure... Is he not the... he may be too old.
He looks like you should be from the Death Star.
No, what I was going to... Yeah, it's because he's wearing
they're
grey.
Nazis.
They're not... No, this is serious. I think I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong, but he looks
yeah,
too
Fritz.
old. Too old. But he looks like the Russian guy from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, the Indiana Jones movie that gets eaten by ants.
Oh, yeah.
But he's not. But if this guy played Vladimir Putin, I reckon he would nail it.
Oh, yeah, he could.
He would. I mean, he'd be too old now, but I reckon he would still rip a bear in half.
Surprising you know anything about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. When was the last time you saw it?
I saw it in the cinema.
I did too, and I can't remember that much.
I remember
feel-
a lot.
I feel so sorry for you that you had to go to the cinema for that.
It was on my birthday too.
Did you ask for a refund when you were done?
No. Also, I broke my tooth.
Did you enjoy the bit where they go like off the mountain in like an inflatable kind of raft
My
and then
favorite.
land on the snow? But
That's-
you know the thing about an inflatable raft? The bottom's not inflatable. The bottom's just like plastic.
Isn't that not in Raid? No, isn't that? That's not in the
That's King of
fourth
the
one. That's in the
definitely
third
the-
one. I thought.
No, it's definitely the fourth
no,
one.
you're wrong.
Or is it?
I think it's with.
It's Sandra Bullock.
It's definitely
You're
Sandra
right. It's actually John Carpenter's The Thing is thinking of. There's snow in that movie. Jesus. No, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Weird film. I like the bit where Shia LaBeouf's fighting monkeys.
Is that? Yeah, all I remember from that film is like the nuclear explosion and him swinging from trees.
Oh, you don't remember Aliens?
Yeah, well, I remember that, but
I remember that was the moment where I broke my tooth. I was in the cinema chewing on a minty, and my tooth was already a little bit broken, and then I broke it eating a minty because they were really hard.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
And I was like, oh, kill me now. Like, I don't need this on top of this.
You would have felt a lot worse if it happened on popcorn. That would have been
Nah,
pretty rough.
Minty's pretty rough because it's stuck to your tooth, so it just keeps ripping it out more and more. So you're wrong.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Because it's a minty. You know who's minty?
Wait, I thought, is it like a mint, like one of those hard ones, or like one of those kind of chewy ones, eventually chewy?
The chewy minties. The ones that are called minties.
Okay.
Am I insane? I don't know.
Rob's
not saying anything, so I feel like I'm the only one who
I don't
knows what
know
minties
mint
are.
brand.
I know what minties are. I have eaten minties before.
You're all crazy.
Look, for me, all mints are the same. I'm racist, Ryan.
Hashtag-
Sandra Bullock.
Hashtag not all mints. And then there's Christopher, what's his name, McLovin? Isn't his last name
Christopher
Mintz?
Mintz-Plasse.
Yeah, Mintz-Plasse. There's a picture of him, his face next to a mint, and it's got like a cross through his face, being like, not all mints.
Jeez.
If there's anyone who could be a character, if anyone could do the voice acting of a character that's a mint, it would be him. He would be
He
great.
could be in a remake of this film.
As Tim Curry?
As the accountant.
That's an argument.
Oh,
Gee,
as the
Dark, you
accountant?
shouldn't have said that. Best line of the film.
What?
Leave Connie alone.
Leave.
Why is his name Connie? Isn't Connie a girl's name?
No, it's a gangster's name.
Hey, Connie, see?
It's not in the 1930s a girl's name. It's more of a
It's Conrad.
middle-aged gangster's name.
It's Conrad, the grocer.
It's Fat Tony's name. He's not Fat Tony, but I
Tony
imagine.
Soprano.
No. Uh-oh.
Hey!
And Tim Curry's slow reaction to this is on point.
It's so good.
like, Sylvester Stallone's got a quick one, like he's breaking down, and Tim Curry's like, what am I going to do in this situation to come off normal?
Yeah. I like how this gangster here, Connie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That smile, sorry.
He kind of becomes like the right hand man for like this portion of the movie onwards. Like he.
Yeah,
sticks
because
by
the other
and
guy's too
snaps-
busy answering the door.
Yeah. And giving the wrong suitcases away. So the briefcase.
Have you guys ever had a day this busy?
Maybe.
Or,
but...
let me be honest, have you ever had 4 hours this busy?
Maybe. I
Not
don't
really.
know.
Like, if I'm seeing a few people in a day, I try to schedule them.
He
apart
scheduled
from
them.
each other. Yeah, it's true.
He's a busy guy.
He's a busy guy.
Wedding days tend to be pretty busy.
Yeah.
Oh, have you been on a wedding?
All 4 of my marriages.
Your
were
wedding
like
day?
this, so.
Not my wedding day, but wedding day.
Oh, like I asked you, have you, and you're just like,
You asked me, have you been on a wedding? What am I supposed to...
What?
Have you been to
That's what you asked me.
been on a wedding?
When did I say that?
Literally a couple of words ago. You
I
said,
don't-
have you ever been on a wedding? And I'm like,
I don't think
I've
I
been
said
to a
this. I don't think I said. Oh no, I'm going crazy. I thought
Sandra Bullock, Ryan.
Fuck, it's Marissa Tomei. Get it right.
You got some Hillary Swank
You're an
right
ox
there.
and a moron.
You're an ox and a moron. Okay, so this film's got a lot of stuff going on. We've mentioned that.
Oh, dude, there are 60
What?
problems per minute.
Do you know? I just realised. Is he the cop from
Copland, you got it.
No. He's the cop from The Usual Suspects.
Yeah, that's a great movie with
is-
with Marissa Tomei as Kaiser Soze.
Yeah.
And then my favorite Kaiser Soze was Hilary Swank. Kaiser Soze.
Yeah, and Alec Baldwin. Yeah, but actually, no, it's his brother.
Alec Baldwin wasn't in that movie.
His brother was.
Billy Baldwin.
No, the third one. He plays the guy with the kind of gingerish hair.
I think Joey Travolta's in this.
Yeah.
I don't know which one he is. Is he the one with
I
the
remember his
wacky eye?
name in the credits.
Is
yeah.
he the one with the wacky eye? The one that we're like, oh, that's got to be a character.
In the credits, they show the actor next to their name, so
So
we can check.
this movie, like I said, has a lot going on. Is there things that don't work for you? I mentioned my whole thing about the accountant doesn't work for me.
Well, I mean, the only thing was that I guess it's semi-intentional, the confusion about the suitcases. Like, at one point I really thought that there was a fourth one or something. It's, like, hard to keep track of.
Yeah, so your ignorance is its fault. Yeah. You
In, like, that one scene, whichever one it was. But in general, I didn't really find too much fault in it.
That's good, man. What about you, Rob? You seem like the more negative one out of us three here on the table today.
What
because you've already
problems do I
admitted
have?
that you were hungover and not fully paying attention to this movie. You
was
thought it
eating
was a
lunch,
crappy
Ryan.
drama and eating lunch. Also thinking that Hilary Swank was in fact Marissa Tomei.
Just like I am now.
He sat there.
Exceptionally hungover.
But the thing is, he sat there watching this movie and be like, oh, that's a chick from $1 Million
Baby.
Not that funny, Ryan. Even you made a mistake.
To be
It
fair,
was good because
to be fair, I only came up with it just then. So there
in
we
all
go.
fairness, though, at least my mistake, Sandra Bullock is often mistaken for Hilary Swank, and the other way around. He's one far off. It's like those people who
Are they similar
compare.
ages?
No, I
Hilary
think.
Swank and...
Oh, it's Hilary Swank and Sandra Bullock, I think.
No,
Yeah.
it's because Marissa Tomei played Hilary Swank in the Sandra Bullock biopic. About her life.
Oh, that's crazy. Is that true?
About her life. Yeah, of course it's true. Everything I've said today is definitely factually correct. Look it up. Everything I've
I
said
love
is
that you
confirmed,
know that-
guys.
I love that you thought that actress was worthy of a biopic.
The Sandra Bullock story starring Mr. Tomei as Hilary Swank.
Is this
Is
a Kentucky Fried Movie sketch?
And
In the
it's,
Sandra
and
Bullock
it's called,
biopic.
and the weirdest thing is the movie's called Get Swanked. It's like the weirdest film, and it's really weird because after the day is done, it's directed by Marissa Tomei as well.
Oh,
Is John
so
Landis
good.
still alive?
Yes,
John Landis, Kentucky Fried Movie 2. He's the first
his
sketch.
son is working. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Probably Landis.
No, it is, but he's a really interesting guy. He wrote Chronicle, American Ultra. I think he worked on that Victor Frankenstein movie with Daniel Radcliffe. He's very prominent in Hollywood right now, but he keeps burning bridges. He's like one of these guys who goes on Twitter. It's like, yeah, the studio's really fucked me on this one, and they're like, why? And he's like, why did I get jobs? Yeah. So, I think this movie works. I think what I like about it too is it's that type of humor where it's set in a time period, but the comedy is timeless. Like, I think that's
It's
the
very
thing.
clever.
Like,
It's very clever.
like it takes those gags that apply to nowadays standards that they apply to the 1930s, such as the whole "I'm 1930s girl, dad," And then, like, him, like, grilling her, being like, oh, your generation don't understand nothing. And, like, I like that because that's kind of, like, what we think of parents and this, and this. It's, like, it's funny because they're taking it to, like, 1930s, and it's kind of really weird to do this. And, just casting Sylvester Stallone, it's the one thing I can't get over is what was the casting process for this movie? Because everyone else seems obvious in their choice. Like, look at him.
Yeah, like Connie's
obvious.
Appears in apparently every mob movie ever.
Yeah.
Mob set, I think.
Yeah, every good movie like that. And so it makes you go, why Sylvester Stallone? Was he pushing for this? I want to know the backstory behind this, of what Sylvester has to say about this.
I feel like Sylvester Stallone is the type of actor who would like to try a bunch of different things.
He really likes to push himself.
I think someone gave him a bag of panties, and then he decided that was what payment that he needed to get across the line. At first, he was a bit like, I don't really know. I don't really want the money. Like, what do you got for me in this? And they're like,
I feel like a guy who started with porn wouldn't really be swayed by panties that much.
No, he was swayed by the fact that he was working with Hilary Swank. He's like, I love that girl.
Hilary Swank is his daughter?
No, and he's just like,
I love that girl. I worked with a good friend. I worked with a good friend, and then he like lists off Sandra Bullock and Demolition Man. He's like, and then he rocks up to set. He sees Marsia Tomei. It's like, hey, I haven't seen since Demolition Man.
Doorbell. What?
Just you. We're like having a good time, and you're just like, haha, doorbell. And go back to chuckling.
oh god.
The fact that you laughed at it's the funny part.
Oh, here we go.
And here's the
He's
real showstopper.
He's the curveball.
Who would have thought?
He's the big spanner in the works.
Who would have thought that this character would have such an arc? In this short time.
such a short.
Yeah, she
quick
sat down.
arc.
We're gonna get her arc like before she gets up.
Her arc is on a very acute angle.
She's like quickly. Noah. She's got such a big arc that she had to do it in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting.
She's on the clock.
We should bring on a guest and just bring a whole arc with them as soon as we introduce them.
Even before the show starts. Like, we've just recorded.
Hello, listening people. This person.
No,
here.
no, hello. No, hello.
Oh, that's too long.
Too long. Gotta get it right out there.
Just an H and then tell them, or just no H?
No, just Rob was born under the sun.
27.
Okay, so
I can't believe he was so happy that this guy they're talking about got killed. He's like, oh, remember him? What a lovely guy. Yeah, he got killed this year. Oh, that was great.
That's so great. Well,
like,
he must have been a jerk.
Yeah.
It was because Sylvester did it. He killed him.
Snaps, right.
Roxy?
He's not playing a character here. This is a biopic. We already learned this. This is what he was doing in the 30s. Sylvester Stallone's very old.
I mean, yeah, he looks old.
That's a weird thing. He does look old. Like, Sylvester Stallone's got it's because he's got a really masculine look about him. He's always kind of looked old. And then when you watch the first Rocky movie, you're like, oh, jeez, he's really young in this. And then you see the second one, and you're like, how many years apart were they? Like 1 or 2? And you're like, oh, he's really aged.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah, alcohol and copious amount of cocaine will do that to you.
Yeah, when I walked in blind to this film, I actually didn't even know what year it was. So as soon as he stepped down and I saw his face, I'm like, okay, he's still got the black hair. So this is like 20th century still.
20th century? He still has black hair now. No,
but he looks really old.
Yeah. No, in all fairness, Rob, you're saying drugs and all that. Yeah, sure. That would have aged him. But I think it's also that thing of bodybuilders. Like he gained too much mass and then he deflated.
And then he had a stroke and lost the ability to talk.
Oh, dude, he looked really buff in the Terminator.
No, in all fairness, Sylvester Stallone, I can't remember if this is I can't remember if this is a true fact about him or one that people just say, but I think he was born with his when he was
his jaw, was it?
His upper lip is paralyzed.
He had a hair lip.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I thought it was that his jaw was slightly on its side. That kind of makes you talk a bit funny.
No, I think he's got a paralyzed lip, part of his lip. When he was being pushed out of the birth canal, he was on an angle or something, and it
I thought you just did
screwed up some nerve damage. So that's why he talks like this.
I thought he was on a lot of tranquilizers, and he was always just slurring his voice.
The best part about this movie is someone sat down and went, "Okay, we've got Sylvester Stallone. You know what we need? An elocution lesson for this motherfucker. It's about time we've done it."
Our mate the butler just summed up my thoughts in the entire movie when he said, "This day has been an emotional roller coaster."
It has.
And it has. Nothing brings it back like an old ex walking in the door.
You know, Rob
Like-
used to have an old ex that walked in this very door right here when we were doing a podcast that we never recorded on air. Like, we recorded, but we never released it on air. That podcast was every Hilary Swank and Sandra Bullock Marsia Tomei movie back to back. And you know who the ex was? Surprisingly enough,
Was it one of the three?
no. It was this woman here that's playing
Oh, the mother.
the mother. She's like, Rob, you remember me? And he's like,
That's
"Oh."
exactly what her voice sounded like.
And he was like, I don't really. He's like, remember when you used to work for this gangster, like for
Alistair?
for Alistair the gangster? And he's like, shit, you're the woman I had sex with. Yeah, and he's your kid. And it's just like a little version of Rob. Like,
With the same voice?
hey, Dad, it's me,
Doesn't
Robbie Jr.
Doesn't this all just come together?
Doesn't it come? Yeah.
too easily, just too nicely for everybody?
No. No,
Wow.
I don't think so. I think you're cynical. They've
Why
already
the hell did we
gone
choose to do a whole marathon episode? That was stupid.
Well, it went for weeks as well. That's like the weirdest part. Yeah, shake hands. And there they are. They're together. I'm very happy about this. They were my OTP during the whole film. I was really excited for what was going to happen with them.
I think I changed my mind. I think I like Lisa now.
Yay! It changed your
By
mind.
the end of the film, I like her more. She felt like the mum more than anyone, but I think I like her.
My girls! Wee! And look, if there wasn't mistaken bag identity, Sylvester Stallone would be in prison right now with Kurtwood Smith laughing like a cat. Meh. And he would be like, my boss, he's Dick Jones!
Oh, we missed the dangling participle.
Oh, fuck. Oh, there's Stuttery Jones. I don't know what his name is. Stuttery motherfucker. That's what he's... What's that movie, Horrible Bosses, where Jamie Foxx is like Motherfucker Jones?
Yeah.
This would be like Stutterfucker Jones. but yeah, because when he makes women come, they stutter too. That's like his catchphrase.
What's this great? This is great. Is the subtitles for that gentleman when he talks? Is it just says mumbling? Innate rambling.
My
Yeah.
favorite part that I just realized was there's a running joke that Kurtwood Smith just smacks pigeons off of that windowsill. Like he just did it just then. He like smacked 4 pigeons, and it's like, did they add that there? Or did he just say, "Fuck these pigeons. This is my 15th take. Get out of here."
Well, they're so prominent that I gotta imagine that they're like trained pigeons or something.
No, they're his pigeons.
Okay.
He's like, I can mistreat my pigeons any day I want. Now, here they are, the bankers. With this movie, guys, with this movie, what is it, the element for you that really kind of makes you like it at the end of the day?
I guess the energy, the fact that everyone looks like they're having a good time. I mean, these are kind of, you know, general things that make a film great. Yeah, everyone just, even though we've talked about Sylvester Stallone doesn't really scream Italian mobster type, everyone just seems like they fit into the role that they've been given.
What about you, Rob?
Say it again.
What about you, Rob?
And he gives like the best response ever.
Sorry, I was trying to focus on.
You're trying to focus on Stutterfucker Jones.
He asked, what about this film really works for you? What makes you like it?
Yeah. At the end of the day, what is it about it that you like? What is it that makes you like it?
The aesthetic. I love the suits. I love the dress ups. I love the era that it's set in. The characters. Everyone's just so over the top. That's what I like about it. I like the fact that I eventually worked out that it was a comedy, and when I worked out that it was, I started to enjoy the movie a lot. And there's a lot of very good small characters in this, and I think that's what makes an unappreciated masterpiece, is that it's not always carried by the big, powerhouse performances. Like, it's not about Stallone, it's not about Tim Curry. It's about guys like this. It's about the bankers. It's about these little small characters who, just kill their scene. And that's why I like this film. All these little guys.
I agree. It's the
They
little
make
things.
It's the little things. It's not Anthony. I hate Anthony, but everyone else is great.
Fuck him in the ass. I think what I like about it is, this is a throwback. I mentioned that. Like, remove the throwback element from it.
I think what I like about this is that it's a comedy. And what I mean by that is it's got the tone right. This is not a highbrow intellectual movie, but it's not the lowest common denominator lowbrow trash that we get given day in, day out in the modern comedy landscape. I feel like what I like about this movie is that it is a good comedy. I think we are really drowning in terrible comedies today. I don't think, in the modern landscape of cinema, I don't think I've seen a comedy in the cinema that I truly liked. I've seen movies that have comedic moments that I like, but not ones that are like true out and out comedies. Like, you know, there's ones that are like
I would give
black
22
comedies.
Jump Street pretty good.
I didn't get to see that in the cinema.
Oh, my friends and I pissed ourselves laughing.
Yeah, and I've seen like some stuff, but like for me, this is what I think should be thrown back to. This style of comedy, and not necessarily like it's a throwback, like, but it's aware that it's a comedy. It's not pretending to be anything else, and it's not trash. And I like some Will Ferrell movies, sure, but there's that whole thing, we've talked about this on our Year 1 episode, which, you know, great, where it's that improvising type of humor. It doesn't give me as much, where you need someone where, look, every joke has a setup and payoff. Everything is tightly wound in this movie, and you feel it. You feel it in your heart. Your heart races through this movie because you're laughing, but also you're trying to keep up with the movie, and I think that's what's great. This movie is not condescending. It's like, yeah, if you're gonna get this, you're gonna get this, and if you're not gonna get it, well, still enjoy the ride.
Yeah, and it doesn't need to be like Hangover level bizarre or anything like
No,
that.
exactly, and I think that this audience is a rewarding experience. I think that's what I like about it. It just is a comedy. At the end of the day, it's not anything else. It's not trying to be anything else. It is what it is. And I appreciate movies that know themselves, that actually have an identity at the end of the day. That's the thing. Like, I feel like there's a lot of movies that we watch, even like big movies that came out like last year. Like, you know, it's so easy to make fun of, but there is a reasoning why people don't like Batman vs. Superman. There's a reasoning why people don't like Man of Steel and like those DC movies and like some of those other big blockbuster movies that came out last year, like Ben-Hur and all these, which is they don't know what they want to be. This does. And I think the modern cinema landscape should revisit this film and look at it and be like, so that is how you make a movie. That's aware.
Yeah, it's a good comedy.
Yeah, it is. I think
Here we found bag number 7.
Ah, yes. Kurtwood Smith's own lingerie that he put in that bag, oddly enough. Here he goes.
See, now he hasn't been in porno, so he gets his own lingerie.
We don't know that. Have you looked him up?
I don't know that, actually.
You haven't watched
he
RoboCop.
He might be the same as Snoop Dogg.
Also, the best line in all of cinema, he delivers in RoboCop, I think, Rob, you can agree, which is he enters he enters this guy's apartment, and the guy has all these hookers, and he says deadpan, like, while loading a silencer onto his gun, he just says, "Bitches, leave." And they just get up, and they actually say, "Hope to see you later." And he's dead. That guy's dead.
Jesus Christ. See, I'm so used to that 70s show, I need to see RoboCop.
Oh, RoboCop's great.
I know. I've wanted to see it for a long time, but now I really gotta see it.
He murders Peter Weller good in that movie, and he has such a fun time doing it. There's a bit in that movie where he's chewing gum, and he's talking to a receptionist who in real life is his actual wife, and he's hitting on her, and he takes out his gum and sticks it on like her little name, what you call those things, little plaque?
Yeah.
He sticks it right on that, and she's like, and it's see-through, like it's a plastic see-through thing. He like sticks it on there, it's still hitting on it, and she's like, "Ew, get away from me."
Is
Here we go.
RoboCop the series that eventually becomes like child-friendly?
Yeah. Can we not talk about that?
Okay.
Child-friendly Robocop.
I would have loved if in the reboot of RoboCop they still cast Kurtwood Smith, because he still looks amazing. Like, look at him in this movie. This is 1991. Think of him as Red. He's barely aged.
Like, this is like 7-8 years before that 70s show started.
Is it weird to think that the 70s show started in the 90s?
Yeah, 98, I think.
Fuck. And Mila Kunis is actually like 14 years old.
And she had to kiss freaking Ashton Kutcher.
And now they're married and have a kid.
Yeah.
Weird.
Or two.
Have one or having?
They've had it.
Oh, okay, cool. Good for
I
them.
think. I think they have two. I don't know. I'm not Mila Kunis.
Milena Kunis.
You know Mila Kunis,
I
Rob?
do know who Mila Kunis is.
You do know her?
Yeah.
You sure?
I do.
She was in that 70s show, not to get her confused with...
No, she was in Friends.
Oh, yeah!
With the gangster who doesn't appear again.
Yeah.
You know her character in Friends, Joey? Trivia.
No, you're thinking of the girl from Oz the Great and Powerful.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think about the double wedding?
I think it's great because it means that they're going to have a double honeymoon.
Save some cash.
Well, earlier someone brought up the idea of separate honeymoons, so you
Oh,
know,
fuck
they might
it.
wanna do that.
Now, Oscar appears in the movie. Were you surprised?
Yeah, it kind of like justifies the title in a way.
Yeah, and...
There are a lot of movies, I can't really think of one off the top of my head, that like name themselves after a minor element.
There's many.
Yeah.
There's many. So, here's the thing I was surprised by, guys. Now, when you know, when you saw Oscar, did you guys think that he was going to be in the movie at any point?
I kind of forgot.
Yeah, I forgot the movie was called Oscar.
Well, I knew at some point that Oscar's got to be in it.
Here he is.
And I was really surprised with who they chose. Do you know who this man is? Did you guys look up anything about the actor?
Looks Polish in a way.
Okay. I don't know.
Sorry for...
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, Ryan, tell me who he is. Is he Sandra Bullock?
No, it's Marissa Tomei. No, interesting choice.
Marissa Tomei's in
When
the
you
wedding
think of a
dress.
character like this, where they have this movie has a lot of people. Tim Curry, Don Amici, Kirk Douglas makes an appearance. You think, they're gonna get an actor who you know.
Yeah.
This guy is not an actor. He is a writer, and he wrote for The Late Show. He wrote for Jimmy Carson and then David Letterman. And he's renowned for being the writer for late night TV shows. So I find it very interesting why he's in this movie. Like, there must be some in reference, so it's like some in thing to have him act, because he's never acted in anything else.
Maybe they wanted someone who's never been in anything, just to like really bring up that whole "who are you" thing.
I guess, but you know what I mean? But, you know, it's very interesting. I'm very curious. Like, I guess that's fair enough, but I just find it very interesting they chose him. Like, I wonder if there is a thing like, oh yeah,
If there is some reason for it.
like, let's get the writer to be the character. Like, let's get a writer. Like, I don't think he wrote this movie at all either. So he doesn't do movies. I don't.
Why
think.
do we never see the end? Oh, it was not the mother. It's like the maid. Like, you know, at the very start of the film, how she's there and she, lets him in to see his father.
Yeah.
And then we only see her at the very end at the wedding.
That's his mother. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Joey Travolta.
What has she been doing?
She's been grieving. Her husband just died. Can you give her a break? Lovely. So, the movie's over. Oh, there's Paul Greco. Walkie. Of course he's a Kai Wolf. Of course
It's probably Wolf.
I'm sorry. Also, that woman's last name was Sorkin. So is she related to Aaron Sorkin, the writer? I hope so. So, the movie's over. It was emotional. We felt a lot of things.
We did.
Now we're going to give our reviews and rating of our choice. Let's go with you first, Rob.
So
He says Ryan as he turns to me.
I was scratching my neck, so I don't want to be like this. It's more awkward if I turn.
So, as I've said, it
Good
was
job.
it was an emotional roller coaster. I came in not knowing what to expect. I thought it was a drama. I learnt it was a comedy. They said this a lot of times. I clearly have no brain capacity and can't remember who was in what film. As most of today, I've just mentioned actors in random films that weren't there at all. So,
What do you mean?
so I'm gonna give it.
I was in this.
Yeah, Bartek was actually my favorite character in the whole film. I
was negative 2 years old.
Yeah,
He was not a character.
he stole the film. But look, I've decided that I'm going to give it 6 Marissa Tomei's out of 10 Sandra Bullocks. So that's my.
That's a good
my
exchange
score.
rate.
But how many Hilary Swanks are in there?
63%. There you
Yes.
go. So that's my score.
All right. Well, that's fantastic.
I don't know if I'd watch it again, but if someone told me they were going to watch it, I'd certainly say
do.
do it.
All
Go
right.
for it.
Well, I'm gonna get.
Relatives. John Rutchland and Rutchland III.
Man, where's the second though?
I don't know, he's lazy.
Fucking unemployed. That's where. So I'm gonna give my review and rating. This movie.
Mr. Stallone's driver, John Cain.
Hey, people got to drive Stallone. What
Pigeon-
about the pigeon
pigeon
wranglers?
wranglers.
Well, remember, the first thing that happens in the film is he gets out of the car.
Yeah, true.
So my review is pigeon wranglers. No,
I love this movie. I think I kind of summed it up a moment ago, but it's a quintessential comedy. It is everything you want it to be. It falters in the fact that it's too perfect at what it's trying to do. But at the end of the day, is that really a fault on it or us? I think it's a fault on us, the audience. I think we needed to recognize its brilliance and what it was achieving, and instead of complaining. Okay? This movie has a perfect cast to it. Sylvester Stallone shows that he can do comedy intentionally. Because, you know, he's funny unintentionally in his career. I think that this film really is a game changer for Sylvester Stallone. I think at the time it was a negative one, but overall in his career it's a positive one. This film walks the tightrope between cartoonish and a farce at the same time. And there is a difference between those for me.
Yes.
Like, a farce has to have a sense of logic within itself. And it didn't become too cartoony, but it did nod and a wink there as well. It gives a magnetic performance from Tim Curry. One that we didn't talk about too much, but I think it's really great because Tim Curry plays a nice person in this. He's not malicious, he's not malingering, he's not evil, he's not creepy. He's just naive, and at the end of the day, he's actually the romantic lead in this, which I've never seen, I don't think, from Tim Curry, a romantic leading role. I think he was great. I think that performance reflects everything about the movie. It's fun, it's zany, it's cute, it's sentimental, it's bizarre, it's out there, it's fast. I would say my rating for this movie, if I have to give a rating, which I do, I would give it... Ah, man, how many gangster puns can one think of in a time like this? 0. I'm gonna give this movie the only rating that one really should give it, which is... I would give it 5 snaps out of 5. I don't know if I
You
said
literally,
5.
you literally gave it 5.
Yes! Bartek!
Oh, that was a 6-1.
That
means you gave it over 100%, right?
That was from you.
I
did not...
Accusing me of doing things that I'm not doing.
The Judas of the podcast.
The Judas of the podcast? Is that me?
No, it's Rob, because he's messed my desk up by putting pieces of paper.
No, Ryan,
You fucking ass.
we've already established that the Judas is on this podcast, the people who don't turn up.
Well,
remember?
Rob turned up.
Yeah, he turned up, so he's not a Judas.
Fine, he's King Harold.
King who?
King Harold?
King Arthur.
You mean Herod?
Herod.
King Arthur.
Okay, he killed the babies.
Yeah, Rob's a baby killer. Go with your review and rating.
What do you think?
What are they? Oh, I think we were still talking about you killing babies.
Rob's like, what do you think? You like my signature? Look, I got a picture in the paper. What do you think? It looks nice. I'm a Fanucci.
Yeah, we're doing for you. Yeah, let's do it.
If you have a baby, I'll
But
give you the
Rob's
name.
other Fanucci's his imaginary friend.
Yeah.
Go on.
Okay.
This film, being one of the earlier ones that we've done, in fact, might be the earliest film we've done. I don't think we've done anything from the 80s.
Surf Ninjas was 90s too.
I know, but I don't think anything was back in 91. I don't know, this is amongst the earliest films that we've done, and it is definitely an early unappreciated masterpiece whose influence is shown much later in other films that even we've done on this show. Like, we've talked about comedies that try to be it, such as Year One, and, you know, Year One was not this film. This film was not Year One, but Year One was its own film. This film was at one point described as an emotional roller coaster, which distinctly something that Ryan used to describe the film Thunderpants.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And Ryan also brought up the birth process of Sylvester Stallone, which was something we saw in Thunderpants. And there was a point in this film where Sylvester Stallone was leaning against a fireplace, and we even commented, hey, it's like Jesus, which, as we recall, Patrick Smash in Thunderpants was a Christ figure.
Yeah.
This film is an influential film, but only to the right films. Not all films have taken influence from it. Name a film that's an appreciated masterpiece, Ryan, from, I don't know, this century.
$1 Million Baby.
$1 Million Baby. Is there anything...
I know, I think it did win a few Oscars.
He said appreciated masterpiece.
Is there anything from $1 Million Baby that you can see in this film?
Marsia Tomei.
No, Ryan, that was Sandra Bullock. Get it
Fuck,
right.
you got me there. It was so swanky.
And also, if you really, really think about it, in this film, isn't it just
Breakfast, yeah.
breakfast? It is breakfast, isn't it? It is what it is. But I was going to say, isn't it just beautiful,
Yeah.
charming, wonderful, or as the Germans say, wunderbar,
Fuck those guys. Say it in Polish.
Spaniale?
There you go.
Kind of
Sounds
sounds
like-
Italian, doesn't
It
it?
sounded like you said Spaniards.
Yeah, that's weird. This film is a beautiful film. It is a beautiful comedy. Even Roger Ebert himself,
The antagonist of our show.
the antagonist of our show, lightly criticized a light criticism that Siskel, who generally is seen in a better light by us, gave of Sylvester Stallone's performance. It is a film that clearly nobody hates, but the problem is just no one knows it. And that's no with a K and a W.
Yeah.
I am going to give this film a rating after I've given it a review, which I just did.
Nailed it. Like the nails in Christ.
I haven't given the rating yet, but
Good.
the rating that I give it, and I already told Ryan what I was going to give it like a week ago. I am giving this the thanks, in the sense of Roger Ebert said that Sylvester Stallone's performance was in a thankless job. Thank you.
Thanks, Sylvester. If you want to come on the show, we would love to do your movie about soccer. So, Bartek and I have got together some reviews from IMDb and some comments from YouTube. Oh, because that's where the real art is
No
from.
quizzes or fan fictions this week.
It's where the highbrow stuff comes
So
from.
I'm going to start with mine, which is called Excellent Movie, and then it's got like a squiggly line and then another exclamation mark.
I love the squiggly line.
So this is from 2004, so that's very important to know. This has no star rating, so it's just straight into it. This movie was a great one. You can laugh really hard and not care who's around. If the words "yes, boss" don't get you laughing, then I don't know what will. Tim Curry is nauseous for comedy or just being a bad guy in a lot of movie. But he did an excellent job in this movie with Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester spelled with a lowercase s and Stallone spelled with a capital.
Okay.
This movie has a lot of laugh, great characters, and a really good, unique storyline that you don't see very often. Yes, indeed, the story gets a little confusing, but you can't help but love the era of the movie and the way everyone does so well with their characters. Recommended for movie night or just a few good laughs. And then I've got another one here for you. That's the end of that one. This one is one of the best comedies I have ever seen in my life. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
This is written in Bulgaria. From 2004, Rob. As well, it was a very popular year to write about this
Why are you
movie.
telling him? Why can't you tell me?
I already told you the first one.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so this has no star rating either. This is maybe one of the best comedies I have ever seen. The whole story is nothing much, but the actors made it unforgettable. The thing that makes this movie so good is the cast. The actors are really perfectly chosen and they play it really well. There isn't one single actor who doesn't play good in this movie. Well, if you expect Stallone to shoot out crates of ammo, then you will be disappointed. This is the movie that made me realize that Sylvester Stallone can act, not just shoot. Not Rocky. But with 2 words, this is a movie to make you laugh. Tip: if you have a heart condition, you probably shouldn't watch this movie without some medical personnel attending. Your heart may burst from laughing. And that's the 2 I got there.
Nice.
Let's go.
It was an
So
emotional piece.
I brought 12 of the best comments that I could find off the YouTube about this film. It was a lot easier to find comments for this than Deck the Halls, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Which is funny because this film's much older, from the pre-YouTube era.
Take that, YouTube.
So our first one Our first comment is more directed at Stallone's presence in the film. And it is, good grief, Stallone is an excellent comic actor. He should have done more comedy than those poor taste action movies. ... And the second comment we have today is, I get a feeling this is a spoof movie in regards to Johnny Dangerously. Too bad nothing could top that movie. It is and always will be the classic.
It is a good movie.
Can I read one?
Is it the classic? You want to read the next comment?
I'd love to read one.
The next one's very short.
Oh, that's good. I'll straight to
Rob wants to be a part of the team.
Straight to the point.
You know what?
Top-
I don't think we've ever let a guest read one.
No, we haven't.
All right.
The one at the top.
At the very top?
Yeah.
I kept seeing Rocky Balboa only during this entire movie.
Only during the entire movie,
I believe that's an oxymoron.
Well, don't call him out on this. Can Rob read just one more?
Sure.
I'll read it.
It's the bigger one.
Oh, the big one? Okay.
Do you want me,
Read it nice and slow.
The best thing about Oscar is we haven't seen a comedy of this quality based in the 1930s since practically the 30s. Got to go back to movies like Arsenic and Old Lace.
Knew it.
At least this one's in colour! !
Get this, Ryan.
Some people don't like Oscar at first, but I gotta tell ya, this movie will grow on you. Especially if your wife or girlfriend make you watch it with them repeatedly. After 15 times, I finally fell in love with it. I give it 5 stars. A must-own DVD for your collection.
That's awful. I love it.
He got the best one.
You must do this. Now, the next review I've got here from IMDb, I'll read just this one. It's a longer one, but it has a lot there. This is a 7-star review called I Dealt with Murderers, But You Bankers. This was written in 2016. And we'll get straight into it. First, this is the funniest Landis movie that people under 40 probably have never heard about. To be specific. The movie is pure comedy with gangster attempting to go legitimate to fulfill a vow to his dying father, a great cameo by Kirk Douglas, winky face. The star of this movie is the star of the movie is the great writing. Look, I'm not a big Tim Curry fan. I thought he was awful in Home Alone 2, but he steals this movie completely. Wait until you see his rendering of an intellectual English teacher who is trying to improve Snap's wild daughter, played by Tomei. No, Marissa, just Tomei. Who will ever forget when he is told by Stallone that he cannot control her, and Curry responds with, "She has such lovely rounded diphthongs." I've got that wrong. Tim, you can tell me. Snaps responds, "I know that is what got her in trouble in the first place." The movie is a series of mistaken identities and an associate accountant running rings around Snaps, his poor henchman not making either the transition to regular life or figuring out what the devil is going on in the mansion. The many interwoven mistakes, daughters, the henchmen running around with both the cops and a rival all monitoring Provolone, confused plenty of viewers who just gave up. The story will swirl around you. The best way to enjoy it is to understand that it is a throwback to old slapstick comedies of the 1930s and 40s, like The Lady Eve. The supporting cast is excellent, besides Curry. Watch for Palminteri, who is my favourite flunky, who gets completely lost in the whirlwind of which daughter goes with whom and who is courting whom. By the end of the movie, he is close to a nervous breakdown, to say the least. My favourite running gag is the money bags, one filled with priceless jewels to pay off blackmailing former accountant, that is mixed with a bag of his daughter's underwear. Daughter's underwear? Was it her underwear?
No, it was the maid's.
Yeah, it was
Usually, Provolone is just about to conclude a deal with a bribe, and he pours out his daughter's underwear in front of the crook. Yeah, that's embarrassing. Wait, wasn't it Tim Curry both times?
Yeah. I mean, and also the bankers and the cop at the end.
Oh, yeah.
I think the person who wrote this is more confused than I am.
Landis knows how to make one good genre, comedy. When he mixes in action, it never goes well. In brackets, Into the Night, for example. Here, he is in his element. Watch for great supporting actors who always get progressively more and more violence. and then in brackets, the wife. So he's now trying to specify who he's talking about. Who gets lost in the blizzard of her daughter and who is marrying whom? The movie's most quotable line from my header is near the end of the movie. Stallone looks at a room full of bankers. You know, I dealt with murderers, thieves, and robbers, but you bankers! Yes, those of you who have worked with them will share the biggest laugh in this movie, as Ken Howard, the Harvard type, takes slight offense at that slur. As your reviewer, the main warning is that this is complete slapstick with great writing and more twists and turns than a bag of pretzels.
That's a good warning.
If you are expecting any serious drama, Rob.
It's how do they know it was me?
You will just hate the movie. I always thought it bombed because all the plot complications lost so many people. It is not hard if you focus on the real daughter, Tomei, and the unknown second daughter.
Swank.
It pivots.
No, Sandra Bullock.
It pivots around these two women. If you lose sight of this, trust me,
Oh, he's in the trailer.
the movie will do a flyby on you. Stallone failed at other attempts to do a comedy. Stop or My Mama Will Shoot, for example. But this one works. Landis is great at comedy. The dialogue is funny, and the first frame until the very end. And it is great comedy from the first frame until the very ending. There is a movie-long running joke about guns falling out of gangs' pockets, always provoking rage from snaps. Like they fall out? Yeah, they grabbed them out, but okay. Reviewing comedy for you is easy. It made me laugh throughout the entire movie. There really are no dead spots here. Again, just worry about the two daughters and let the rest of the convolution spin around you. Wait until Curry tells Connie that he left a particulate dangling. He turns around and checks his...
Particular?
Yeah, that's what they wrote.
They didn't write participle?
No. And checks his fly. I loved all the Landis pure comedies, even The Three Amigos. There is no exception. It will make you laugh it'll make you laugh the entire movie. An underrated classic.
Yummy.
Wow.
Bartek?
Alright, let's go with some more comments. This next one starts with a quote from the movie. One of the more meaningful ones.
I'm meaningful.
By a certain someone's favourite character.
Yes!
We make you like a banker. wait, I didn't finish the quote.
Oh, okay.
Now I gotta start again.
Fuck.
We make you like a banker. Take off your pants. And the piano interlude is awesome. ...
That's so good.
And another one.
So good.
This one, it's got a punctuation mistake at the beginning, but I'll ignore that. Lily as his aunt. Wow, and Kirk Douglas as his dada. Gotta love NY in the 30s. And
man.
this next one is... Some of our favourite IMDb reviews end with something like this, but this one is just a standalone comment. Thanks for a very fine film.
No.
And another one also reacts to a quote from the movie. Separate honeymoons. LOL, my wife and I should have done that.
That's perfect. Can I read one?
Yeah, I've only got 4 more, so
Alright,
tell me when.
I'll read two more. An extremely enjoyable, light-hearted romp, 9 stars, written in 2004, Rob. It was a big year for Oscar reviews. Kudos to the director. He managed to make Stallone seem like a great actor. And he's not just passable in this. He's really excellent in his role. Who knew he could do comedy? I mean, on purpose. More importantly, this film not only takes place in the 1920s, but has much more of the feel of a movie from that era. Well, close to that era, and sans the B&W.
What?
Black and white.
Oh, right.
It feels a lot like a Cary Grant, Katharine Hepburn movie with the lightning fast jokes, quips, and comebacks. The cast is perfect. The timing, editing are perfect. The jokes are spot on and never insultingly stupid. I'm surprised to find myself writing such a glowing review because it's a pretty much meaningless script. But so what? I've seen this movie about 5 times on cable, and I still enjoy it completely. Funny thing, virtually every review on this site is exceedingly positive, yet currently it has a 5.2 rating. Go figure. And then the next one, Rob, to keep you fascinated, we've got a 10-star one from Moscow, Russia.
Oh, wow.
Written in 2009. An absolutely great comedy. One of the best there is. 10 stars.
Okay.
Written by Scarface30. Just so you know.
Oh, fan of gangster films.
A great comedy with wonderfully simple yet extremely funny plot, remarkable characters, and an absolutely amazing cast of actors, both main and supporting. This movie has clearly shown, to me at least, what a good actor Sly is. Thumbs up! I keep this movie in my collection of all-time favorites since its release almost 20 years ago, alongside such jewels as Dr. Strangelove and Fargo. I wish there were more movies like this, full of memorable one-liners that will always make you smile afterwards. She seems to have such nicely rounded diphthongs. That's what got her into this jam. Sorry, boss.
Yeah, it's
And
an
that's-
IMDb favorite.
That's the end of that review. Bartek, share whatever ones you
I've
have,
got
and I have
4
one,
left.
and I have one left.
Okay, I'll do all 4. The first one.
He's gonna hit you with all 4, Rob.
The first one is about the bankers. One of them. And this one, I'll just say right now, it ends with 4 exclamation marks.
I'm fist pumping already.
Oh, jeez, here we go.
Dick Cheney makes a cameo appearance as a banker.
Yes.
Awesome.
And the next 3 are on the scale of praise. This first one here is great cinematography, music, script, cast. How do you even justify not giving this at least 4 stars? Fire all critics!
Fire all.
All is in all caps and ends with an exclamation mark.
Wow.
This next one's the only one that I found for this movie that has responses. That's right.
Oh wow.
Oh,
No
really?
one would respond to Oscar.
Yes. This one is great film. One of Sly's best. The first response is just a quote. "Atsa so you don't forget!" And the last response is a smiley face with a hyphen for a nose and the word lovely.
No.
In all lowercase, no punctuation.
Well, there you go.
And the final one...
Better be the nail in the coffin.
The final comment is just basic. It doesn't say that it's a great film, but it basically just concludes, yeah, this was well made. And it's a quote, but they didn't use quotations.
Fantastic.
Your daughter's not your daughter, and the cash that was the jewels is now the underwear. ... Now that's dialogue.
Well, I've got a 9-star here
And that's it from me.
from 2014. This is the last one, guys. One of the best and funniest movies I have ever seen. I think the movie was and still is one of the funniest movies I have ever seen. It is not for the ADHD crowd. You have to pay attention to the details. What a terrible thing.
Just for the listeners, I just pulled a very perplexed face.
Is it for the ADHD crowd though, Ryan?
No, it is not for the ADHD crowd. You have to pay attention to the details in this one. The whole cast is a hoot. Stallone, Curry, Tomei, Muti, Parliamentary, etc. Make the timing just right. I love the costumes and the Snaps Provolone house. I remember when it came out, it didn't do well, and since we didn't make a whole lot of money, we went to see it at the Bird, a second-run theater. I think it was the best $3 we ever spent at the movies. My daughter Sorry.
My daughter, Marsia Tomei.
Sandra Bullock.
Hold on. My daughter, who is 32 years old,
Yes.
still watches our VHS copy of it. Our 11-year-old granddaughter thinks it's funny. If a Lucille Ball award for comedy existed, Oscar would definitely win. And that's it.
Wow. Wow.
He gave us the
Wow.
ages.
Oh my god.
You guys,
What year was that written?
2014.
Jeez.
Oh, the same year as Noir.
Oh my god.
Same year as Annie. So you guys have always been fantastic, amazing, wonderful listening people. If you stuck this far along into the podcast, congratulations. You have experienced the full experience of Oscar. Now I'm getting all the movies with just characters' names of Arthur. Carrie, which is a musical. So you guys, as always, been fantastic. Rob, wonderful to have you on as a guest. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me back.
We were contemplating never having you back, but then I thought, nah, let's have him on for Stallone. And Bartek, it's always wonderful being a host with you. It's a fantastic experience. Many experiences were fantastic in this experience. Lots of experiences.
Yes. It was different from the Guess Who one, but this was pretty good.
You guys are wonderful. If you want to help us out, if you're not following us on iTunes already, do so. And on Podbean, feel free, Spam Polish Presents. We also have our Facebook page by the same name, where we post some extra content on there, just some fun stuff. And
we have a YouTube channel.
We have a YouTube channel, Spam Polish Presents as well, where we just upload our episodes. There's only a few on there at the moment, but slowly but surely we'll be up to date. So, as always, you guys, remember to be kind to each other, okay?
Yes, and we'll end this episode by all giving one quote from the movie. Shall we?
Yes, go on.
Okay. Let's see. The quote that I'll give is, that's just so you don't forget!
Just so you don't forget.
Okay,
Because it's the most recent one I can remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine will just
Really
be...
put me on the spot here.
Mine will be the simple one. Hello!
Ooh.
And
Fuck you, it was the best line in the movie and you know it.
mine will be... Yeah.
And then I'm going to re-edit that into like a rave mix. And it's like, DJ Stutter Fucker Jones.
You know what I found the other day? Someone on YouTube remixed the beep test.
Great. Well, guys,
That's awesome.
that's it from us. Wait a moment. We all said we're going to say our favorite quotes. Let's listen to the audience's favorite quote.
Yeah, good one.
Good choice, guys. Till next time.
All about that one.
You're killing me.
We just listened to silence. What's wrong with us?
Mentally challenged.
ADHD.
No, that means we're not paying attention. We were paying too much attention just now.
Wait, sorry, what did you say?
In what?
Spell my
I see.